Chapter 3352. They had been drifting in the cold chaos burial star field for a month. Night Sorrow felt that his entire body was frozen, but he still did not meet any living creatures. The fragments of the stars they saw were all frozen into ice sculptures. He had tested it before and found that he could shatter these ice sculptures with a single punch. The scene of them shattering was extremely spectacular, but it was useless. The scenery of this chaos burial star field is really not bad, but in this environment, other than Night Sorrow, I don't know who else can survive. No wonder they said that no one who came in could leave. Desolate War Halberd said speechlessly as they wandered aimlessly. Logically speaking, in such a harsh environment, it is very difficult for cultivators to survive for a long time. But we have been flying for a month, and we have not seen a single corpse. This means that the cultivators who were sent here should have traveled further than us. They should be looking for a way out. If we continue forward, we should be able to meet some cultivators. But we can't be sure if they are dead or alive. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and deduced. At this moment, his body was covered in white ice particles, and he looked like an ice sculpture. What you said makes sense. Then are we going to keep moving forward like this? I see that the surroundings are very vast. Could it be that we are going in the wrong direction? Desolate War Halberd continued. He felt that this chaos burial star field was incomparably vast, and it might not be the right choice to keep moving forward. At this moment, Hammer said, I think that flying forward is the right choice. Oh, why do you say that? Desolate War Halberd asked puzzledly. I can't explain it, but I have that feeling. I feel that all the cultivators who enter here will keep moving forward, using this to find a way out. Hammer thought for a moment, but did not say why. Hearing this, Desolate War Halberd continued. Then let's continue forward. Anyway, Night Sorrow can withstand this low temperature. I can withstand a low temperature now, but if it increases a few times, it should be difficult. After Night Sorrow said that, he continued to fly forward. In this environment, after flying for 3 years, he finally saw the words left behind by a cultivator on a broken star. He also saw the corpse of a cultivator. This cultivator must have been an upper heavenly sovereign when he was alive, and his body was completely frozen. The words on the ice shards of the planet read, My name is Hong Lai. I wandered in the mass burial star region for 30 years. In the end, I couldn't stand the cold and died here. I let down my teacher, Ji Xian. So he's teacher Ji Xian's student. I'd better keep him in the space paradise and bring him out. Seeing these words, Night Sorrow immediately understood that this person was Vice Principal Ji Xian's disciple, so he kept him in his space paradise. Then they continued on their way. 7 years later, Night Sorrow saw another corpse. Like Hong Lai, this corpse had been frozen into a lump of ice, but he did not leave anything behind. Night Sorrow glanced at them and sighed. They're all pitiful people. Keep them too. Then they continued to move forward. This time, Night Sorrow had spent more than 40 years in the disorderly burial star region. In these 40 years, he had seen no less than 10 corpses, but he was already used to it and didn't care about it anymore. After decades of wandering, he gradually understood why everyone said that the disorderly burial star region was a forbidden place that couldn't be left. It was really too cold here. If not for the Phoenix bloodline, Yujia bloodline, and the Leakin bloodline that had extremely strong recovery abilities, he would have been frozen to death long ago. This place really makes one feel despair. After flying for decades, the scenery hasn't changed at all, and I haven't seen a single living person. I can totally imagine what kind of despair those cultivators went through before they died. As Night Sorrow continued to fly, Xiaowu said with some regret. Among the corpses they saw, the strongest was already a 3rd stage half-step to the Supreme Realm, but he was still frozen to death. At this time, Night Sorrow said, I'm wondering if there are any survivors here. I think there shouldn't be. After all, even a 3rd stage half-step to the Supreme Realm cultivator died here. It can't be that a 4th stage expert like the 3 vice principals was also exiled, right? Desolate War Halberd immediately replied when he heard Night Sorrow's words. In these decades, They had really experienced loneliness together, and it was rare for them to have the opportunity to speak. If there are no survivors, how are we going to get out? Knight Sorrow had flown continuously for decades and felt a little tired, so he stopped in the pitch-black void. He was thinking about how to get out. According to his judgment, there was no one alive here. I think that if we want to get out, we should first find out why this place is so cold. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Xiong Hammer also spoke. Yes, in my opinion, the coldness that can freeze a third-stage half-step to the Supreme Realm cultivator to death is not ordinary. There might be an ice-type sacred spirit of the Supreme Realm in this disorderly burial star region, Xiaowu said immediately. After seeing the corpse of a third-stage half-step to the Supreme Realm cultivator, he had this speculation. Everyone's words make sense, but it's really difficult to find the reason why this place is so cold. Yishang glanced at the endless void and said somewhat helplessly. Then they began to drift again. This time, Knight Sorrow had not flown for long when he saw some light in front of him. These lights looked like they came from flames or stars. Knight Sorrow was immediately energized and said, "Look, there's light in front." There really is. Is this the light at the end of the tunnel? Desolate War Halberd, who discovered that there was indeed light in front of them, was also excited. After all, this was a huge discovery for them. Xiong Hammer was also pleasantly surprised. The silent journey has finally seen the light. Let's hurry over. No matter what kind of light it is, we have to go and explore. After Yi Shang said this, he led them and flew towards the direction of the light. When he got closer, he immediately used the sea serpent's eye to observe and found that some of the lights he saw were from more than 10 stars that were not frozen. After flying here, he could already feel that the surroundings were much warmer. At this time, Xiaowu asked, "Knight Sorrow, did you find any traces of cultivators on these stars?" "Not yet, but I can feel that I'm being watched." As Knight Sorrow continued to observe, he replied to Xiaowu and shouted, "The Night Demon of Lu Tian Academy was here." "Huh, I didn't expect that a middle heavenly supreme like you could come to the scorching pure land." After Knight Sorrow shouted, someone quickly responded. Soon after, a tall and sturdy male cultivator flew out from a celestial body. Chapter 33:53. Were you also exiled to the Chaos Burial Star Field? After the burly male cultivator appeared, Knight Sorrow immediately sized him up. He discovered that this male cultivator was at the 3rd grade of the Half-Step Supreme Realm. However, the aura he released was not as strong as an ordinary 3rd grade of the Half-Step Supreme Realm. It was almost equivalent to the 2nd grade of the Half-Step Supreme Realm. Knight Sorrow had the ability to contend with such strength, so he was not too nervous. "Yes, I killed one of Andrew's elders, so I was exiled to the Chaos Graveyard Star region. Why are you here? Logically speaking, with your cultivation, you were able to come to the scorching Pure Land because your talent is extraordinary. With your talent, the Academy should be nurturing you with all its might. How could they let you be exiled here?" This burly male cultivator was quite polite to Knight Sorrow. However, Knight Sorrow could feel that the other party was deliberately trying to get close to him, but he shouldn't have any ill intentions. These are what Knight Sorrow could sense with the power of virtue. Even if the other party didn't have any ill intentions, his attitude became modest. He said, "I killed a Star Lord, and I was exiled here by the 3 great Vice Academies." After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he asked, "How should I address you?" My name is Barbarian King, and I specialize in close combat. I was originally an elder of the Star Hall. What's your name?" Barbarian King replied with a smile. "My name is Night Devil. Before I was exiled, I was a Star Lord." Knight Sorrow said, and then said, "Brother Barbarian King, if it's convenient, can you introduce this scorching Pure Land to me? Can this place withstand the terrifying cold of the Chaos Burial Star Field?" This scorching Pure Land can indeed withstand the cold of the Chaos Burial Star Field, Barbarian King said, then continued, But each star can only help one person withstand the chaos burial ice that occurs once every 100 years. But currently, the 9 stars of the scorching Pure Land all have masters. If Brother Knight Devil wants to obtain the right to reside here, you have to challenge the 9 great Star Lords. Brother Barbarian King, what's going on with the chaos burial ice that occurs once every 100 years? Is it a terrifying ice period? Hearing this, Knight Sorrow immediately asked with a frown. Yes, this mass burial of ice that occurred once every 100 years would last for 3 years. Within these 3 years, the entire disordered burial starfield would be covered in ice. The temperature would be at least 20 times lower than usual. If they don't stay dormant in the scorching Pure Land, they won't be able to hold on, the Barbarian King replied. Regarding this matter, he did not hold back at all. The reason why the Barbarian King had approached Knight Sorrow and told him so much was because he was the weakest among the 9 Star Lords. Furthermore, his cultivation had dropped to the 2nd grade of the half-step Supreme Realm. He didn't want to engage in too many battles. He felt that if he sold Knight Sorrow well, he wouldn't be challenged. Hearing the Barbarian King's words, Yishang immediately understood what was going on. He asked, "Brother Barbarian King, can you introduce me to the other 8 Star Lords?" That's naturally possible. When the Barbarian Emperor heard this, he instantly understood that Knight Sorrow had no intention of doing anything to him. Therefore, he began to talk about the other 8 Star Lords in detail. Of the other 8, only one was at the 2nd grade of the half-step Supreme Realm. However, with her strength, she was ranked in the top 3 and was not a good opponent to challenge. The rest were at the 3rd grade of the half-step Supreme Realm. They were all elders of Lu Tian Academy, and none of them were Star Lords. The reason for their banishment was basically unexplainable. The Barbarian King analyzed the strength of these people one by one and sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow. The most suitable opponent to challenge is Star Lord Wan Run, who is ranked 8th. His current strength is about the same as mine. If you want to fight for a place to survive, you have to attack him quickly, because there are less than 3 years left before the mass burial of ice arrives. Brother Barbarian King, I have another question. That is, if I keep the cultivators in my own grotto heaven, can they pass through the mass burial of ice? Knight Sorrow continued to ask after the Barbarian King finished speaking. He felt that if he could keep the others in his grotto heaven and avoid the mass burial of ice, then he wouldn't have to cruelly kick one of them away. Someone tried before, and it didn't work at all. This is also the cruelest part of this place. The Barbarian King immediately replied, "All right, I got it." Knight Sorrow nodded and then asked, "Brother Barbarian King, all of you are only thinking about how to survive and not how to get out. Get out? It's easier said than done. This mass burial of stars is so vast that there is no end to it. We can only stay near the scorching Holy Land and don't have the ability to find the exit." The Barbarian King sighed when he heard the word "get out." No one here didn't want to get out, but none of them had the ability to do so. "That's true," Knight Sorrow replied, and then looked at the few celestial bodies. He was thinking about which one to challenge. After all, this was something he had to do to survive. But he didn't have any enmity with these people, so he really didn't want to challenge them. Just as Knight Sorrow was feeling conflicted, a mocking voice suddenly came from one of the celestial bodies. "Ha, Barbarian King. You're really getting worse and worse. Is a middle heavenly supreme worth you kneeling and licking? Who does he have the ability to pull down? Look at how hesitant he is. What a joke. Ho Yin Lai, I don't have your absolute strength. In order to prevent the celestial bodies from being robbed, it's okay to be humble. Also, in my opinion, this brother's strength is not weak at all. He's not hesitating. He's just embarrassed to attack a stranger." Upon hearing this voice, the Barbarian King immediately responded. Then, he sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow. "Brother Knight Demon, although Ho Yun Lai is usually arrogant, he's ranked 4th in combat strength among the 9 Star Lords. You better not target him. Brother Barbarian King, you just said the reason why I couldn't make a decision for a long time. Now that I have a reason to attack, why should I hesitate? The opponent I choose to challenge is Ho Yunlai. Knight Sorrow, who was still thinking about who to challenge, heard Ho Yunlai's disdain and immediately locked his gaze on him. Ho Yunlai and the Barbarian King were both third-stage half-step to the Supreme Realm, but his aura was much stronger than the Barbarian King's. It was basically equivalent to a third-stage half-step to the Supreme Realm. However, Knight Sorrow still chose him as his opponent without hesitation. "What? You want to challenge me? Ha ha ha, come. I've been bored for many years and want to exercise my muscles." Hearing that Knight Sorrow had actually chosen him as his opponent, Ho Yunlai laughed instead of being angry. At the same time, he flew out from the celestial body he was on. Seeing Ho Yunlai flying toward him, Knight Sorrow sneered. "You can eat more, but you can't talk too much. Today, you'll die for talking too much. Bastard, who gave you the courage?" Ho Yunlai was instantly enraged when he heard Yi Shang's disdain. Chapter 3354. 1 second to remember love on /U, reading /book wonderful. No pop-up window, free reading. In his rage, Ho Yunlai had already started to prepare his attack. In his opinion, Yi Shang, who was a middle heavenly sovereign, could not withstand a single blow. There was an insurmountable gap between him and a stage 3 half-supreme realm expert like him. After all, before he had been banished, he had been an elder of the Lu Tian Academy. During his years as an elder, he had seen countless geniuses, but none of them had been a match for him, a grade 3 sovereign at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign. It had formed a fixed mindset in his mind. Seeing that Ho Yunlai was ready to attack, Knight Sorrow sneered. "If I said that my strength gave me courage, I'm afraid you wouldn't believe me. But today, you will definitely die." As he spoke, Knight Sorrow took out his golden heavenly halberd. At the same time, he activated the Treastrimsa Battle Mystic technique and the Destruction Mystic ability. He also activated the Green Phoenix Battle Armor. As for the Bloodline Power and the Silver Dragon Void Shield that Vice Dean Ji Xian had given him, he had no intention of using them yet. After Yi Shang raised his aura, some of the frost on his body completely melted. On his body, there were faint flames burning. "Your aura is not bad, but there is a gap between us. This is a gap that no one can cross." Yi Shan's aura increased, and he took out his half-step paramount stage divine artifact, the golden heavenly halberd. Ho Yunlai, who had already prepared a palm strike, suddenly struck out at Yi Shang. Yin-Yang Fire Palm. As he attacked, countless pairs of palm prints appeared in the void. The pairs of palm prints were symmetrical, and they contained both soft and hard power. This attack is not simple. Knight Sorrow, be careful. Desolate War Halberd warned when he saw Ho Yunlai's attack. If it were him, he would definitely not be able to block this attack. At this moment, Knight Sorrow replied, "It's okay. This is just a probing attack. It looks powerful, but it is actually weak. Like the Barbarian King, he has stayed here for too long, and his strength has been depleted." As he spoke, he used his golden heavenly halberd to unleash the godly spear strike. After Knight Sorrow had advanced to the middle heavenly sovereign level, the power of the spear had increased significantly. After being struck out, it was not used to block the tens of thousands of palm prints. Instead, it was aimed directly at Ho Yunlai's face. After this attack, Knight Sorrow, with the help of the Sea Serpent's Eye, used the Sea Wandering Dragon's divine power that Yin Hengshi had taught him and used his body movement to dodge the attack. The Ocean Roaming Dragon was much more mysterious than the 9 steps of the heaven-defying 9 steps. It shuttled through the yin-yang, blazing palm without being touched at all. At the same time, Knight Sorrow thought to himself, "I wonder what kind of effect this move will have when combined with the 9 heaven-defying steps." At this moment, due to the lack of time, he had only learned some spells that Yin Hengshi had taught him. He hadn't completely fused them yet. He was looking forward to what kind of attack he would be able to unleash after the fusion. This movement technique is amazing. It must have come from the Supreme Venerable. It's very valuable. Seeing Knight Sorrow use the Ocean Roaming Dragon to dodge Ho Yunlai's attack, the Barbarian King immediately praised him. This movement technique also attracted the attention of the other Star Lords. If it weren't for the fact that they were trapped here and were already in despair, this movement technique alone would have caused a fight. I didn't expect you to have such an exquisite movement technique. At this moment, Ho Yunlai suddenly punched out and collided with the godly spear. It even shattered the power contained in the spear. Then, he said gloomily, "This movement technique is not bad. It's mine from now on. If you want to get my movement technique, you have to defeat me first. You shouldn't be able to do that." Ho Yunli's yin-yang blazing palm completely collapsed in the void. At this moment, Night Sorrow said coldly, if it weren't for the fact that he wanted to practice the divine power that Yin Hengshi had taught him, he would have taken the initiative to attack. Hearing Night Sorrow's mockery, Ho Yunlai, who felt that it was harsh to the ears, was a little embarrassed. He said angrily, "Little ant, how dare you boast shamelessly in front of your grandfather? Go to hell." Boundless Universe Spear. As he roared, he took out a long spear and stabbed it at Night Sorrow. After the Boundless Universe Spear was used, it immediately formed 108,000 spear auras in the void. Ho Yunlai, who had been waving the spear continuously, immediately stopped after the spear auras were formed. After he stopped, he sneered, "You don't know what's good for you. You actually didn't interrupt me." At the same time, the 108,000 spear auras in the void suddenly attacked Night Sorrow. Each of these 108,000 spear auras looked similar to the Boundless Universe Spear in Ho Yunlia's hand. The power contained was at the second stage of the half-step Supreme Realm. This was the strongest state that Ho Yunlai could display at the moment. Once in a Lu Tian Academy, he had unleashed 108,000 spear auras at the third stage of the half-step Supreme Realm. For a time, it was shocking in the academy. Seeing Ho Yunlai unleash the 108,000 spear auras, the Barbarian King immediately reminded Night Sorrow, "Brother, this is one of his strongest skills. You must be careful. Thank you for the reminder." Facing the Boundless Universe Spear, Night Sorrow used the Sea Serpent's Eye to observe while activating some of the divine abilities taught by Yin Hengshi to enhance his speed and strength. Then, he took out the Desolation Halberd. His left hand controlled the Golden Heavenly Halberd and unleashed the Fiery Demon Spear. His right hand controlled the Desolation Halberd and unleashed the Qingxian Divine Spear technique. With the help of the Ocean Roaming Dragon divine ability, he was like a butterfly flying through flowers, resisting the 108,000 spear auras. Because his speed was fast enough, although there were many spear auras, they still did not touch his body. They were broken one by one. After dozens of breaths, the Boundless Universe Spear was completely broken. The divine abilities taught by Senior Yin Hengshi are indeed extraordinary. If it was in the past, Night Sorrow would not have the ability to resist the Boundless Universe Spear at all. But now it was more than enough. He could feel that he could not only fight against the second stage of the half-step Supreme Realm, but he could also challenge the third stage of the half-step Supreme Realm. This was not only because his cultivation had advanced to the middle heavenly sovereign level, but also because of Yin Hengshi's divine abilities. In time, if he could master all of these, his strength would rise to another level. While Night Sorrow was thinking about this, Ho Yunlai was already a little flustered. He had not expected Night Sorrow's movement technique to be so effective. As a result, his strongest ultimate art was completely useless. Moreover, Ho Yunlai felt that he had become a punching bag in front of Night Sorrow. This feeling made him very uncomfortable. The Barbarian King, who was at the side, was secretly laughing. He was glad that he had gotten close to Night Sorrow. Otherwise, everything that Night Sorrow had shown before him was enough to defeat him. Chapter 3355. The Barbarian King was full of admiration for Yi Shang's talent that could be seen with the naked eye. At the same time, Night Sorrow's performance was also seen by the other Star Lords. The weaker ones had the same thought as the Barbarian King. They were glad that Ho Yunlai had stood out. "Ho Yunlai, if you can't show me some more powerful skills, I'll attack you. Then I'll start attacking." Yishan's current thought was to test his true abilities. Hou Yunlai was obviously a good opponent. Therefore, he didn't attack immediately. Instead, he floated in the void and waited for his opponent to continue attacking. After fighting for a while, he hadn't used the Eternal Divine Tower or the Silver Dragon Void Shield. He definitely had a backup plan, so he wasn't worried that he would be killed instantly, especially the Silver Dragon Void Shield that Vice Dean Ji Xian had given him. It was a defensive divine artifact of the half-step Supreme Realm. It had a strong defensive effect against the attacks of a cultivator of the half-step Supreme Realm. With its help, he wouldn't be fatally injured at this level. He could use the leak in bloodline to recover automatically. Junior, you're really arrogant. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Hou Yunlai was so angry that his nose was crooked. At this moment, he regretted being greedy and provoking Su Ke. At that time, he thought that Knight Sorrow's cultivation was low. He must have relied on a very powerful secret treasure to be able to survive until the scorching Pure Land. He had provoked Su Ke directly to find an excuse to snatch the secret treasure. However, he didn't expect that Knight Sorrow, a middle heavenly supreme, would have such strength. However, he couldn't back down now. He could only brace himself and continue fighting. After thinking for a while, Hou Yunlai took out a fist-sized red bead from the void. He floated it above his head. Then, the red bead gradually emitted a gentle light. After being supported by the gentle red light, Hou Yunlai's aura instantly increased by several times. Arrogant Junior, go to hell. After receiving the support, Hou Yunlai didn't continue to attack. Instead, he held the Wuji spear and rushed toward Knight Sorrow. At the same time, he took out a secret treasure that could seal the void, the Wuji Void Cauldron. The space around Knight Sorrow was completely sealed. According to his judgment, Knight Sorrow's movements were too ethereal. Only by locking down the surrounding void and engaging in close combat would he have a chance to win. This artifact is not bad. After Hou Yunlai used the limitless void cauldron to confine the surrounding void, Knight Sorrow suddenly felt that his movements were restricted. At this moment, he could completely use his methods to break the seal, but he did not do so. Instead, he held the golden heavenly halberd and the desolate war halberd to receive Hou Yunlai's attack. Under this restriction, Knight Sorrow's speed became much slower. In the process of fighting with Hou Yunlai, he was even at a disadvantage. Sure enough, I still need this artifact to deal with you. Now that Hou Yunlai had gained the upper hand, he felt much more relaxed, because this was his last resort. If it still didn't work, then he wouldn't have any thoughts of resisting. Seeing Hou Yunlai heave a sigh of relief, Knight Sorrow immediately felt that it was a little funny. He did not attempt to break the artifact, but instead shot out 4,400 words of truth technique at Hou Yunlai, who was holding the limitless spear. His speed was reduced. After Hou Yunlai's speed was reduced, both of them were at the same starting line again. At this moment, Hou Yunlai realized that even if both of them were at the same speed, he was no match for Knight Sorrow. This was because in terms of strength and physical strength, he was no match for Knight Sorrow. Moreover, his close combat skills were obviously weaker. Hou Yunlai is definitely going to die. Seeing the situation, Yan Hongmei, the only female cultivator among the 9 and the only second-stage half-step to the Supreme Realm, made a judgment. She was one of the top 3-star lords in terms of strength, and she had good judgment. After Yan Hongmei made her judgment, the other 2 top 3 cultivators, Qing Bao and Yuan Tianlong, also expressed their agreement. Under such circumstances, the barbarian emperor was even more relieved. After all, his means were not as good as Hou Yunlai's. If he fought with Knight Sorrow head-on, he would be killed very quickly. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Knight Sorrow summoned the Eternal Divine Tower. He transmitted his voice, Xiao Wu. Hou Yunlai is about to die. Later, you guys absorb it and convert it into energy. Okay, do you need our help to attack? Xiao Wu responded and asked at the same time. No need. He no longer has the ability to struggle. Knight Sorrow said confidently as he continuously suppressed Hou Yunlai with his halberds. The truth was just as he had predicted. Although Ho Yunlai was still resisting, the defense in his heart had already collapsed. He did not resist for long before he was completely killed. He was easily absorbed into the eternal divine tower. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "The Limitless Spear is a second-grade divine weapon. I have some use for it. The Limitless Void Cauldron can confine space and has some use in battle. Leave them all. Absorb all the other secret treasures and divine weapons he has." Okay, this guy has accumulated quite a lot. He has 3 half-step to the Supreme Realm divine weapons. Xiao Wu checked and found the 3 half-step to the Supreme Realm divine weapons. He immediately devoured them happily. To the Eternal Divine Tower, this was definitely a great supplement. Just as Xiao Wu devoured the 3 half-step to the Supreme Realm divine weapons, he suddenly said, "Night Sorrow, what do you think this is?" Night Sorrow looked up and realized that Xiao Wu was paying attention to a burnt black tree branch. He held the tree branch in his hand and observed it with the sea serpent's eye. The hardness of this tree branch is about a 3rd-grade half-step to the Supreme Realm. It's very extraordinary. I wonder where Ho Yunlai got it from. However, it's too short and can't be used to refine a divine weapon. Since I can't use it to refine a divine weapon, I'll keep it. As he spoke, Xiao Wu prepared to keep the tree branch into the Eternal Divine Tower. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "You've already absorbed quite a bit. Leave this tree branch behind for now. What if it has some use in the future?" "All right then," Xiao Wu replied, and let Night Sorrow keep the Eternal Divine Tower into the space grotto heaven. Then, Night Sorrow cleaned up the battlefield in no time. Seeing that Night Sorrow had collected all the spoils of war, the barbarian king immediately flew over and praised, "Brother Night Demon, you're really a peerless genius. With your talent, if you weren't exiled to the disorderly burial star zone, I'm sure you can cultivate to a 5th-grade half-step to the Supreme Realm. You might even advance to the Supreme Realm. Brother Barbarian King, you flatter me." Night Sorrow said politely and asked, "Brother Barbarian King, how do I use the celestial bodies to pass through the disorderly burial ice?" The Barbarian King immediately replied, "That's simple. Every celestial body has an origin source. As long as you obtain the recognition of the origin source, you can be protected by the origin source when the disorderly burial ice arrives." Chapter 3356. Brother Barbarian King, how do you get the origins recognition? Night Sorrow, who knew nothing about the scorching holy land, could only continue to ask. Hearing this, Barbarian King laughed and said, "Ha ha, that's simple. Usually, after defeating the original owner of the star and occupying the star, the origin will automatically appear." Night Sorrow continued, "Then what conditions do I have to meet to get the origins recognition?" There shouldn't be any conditions because each of us can easily get the origins recognition. After Barbarian King finished speaking, he looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Brother Night Demon, we have plenty of time to catch up. Why don't you go and take over the star first?" "All right." Night Sorrow responded and looked at the other stars and said, "Night Demon is new here. I hope everyone can take care of me. Don't worry, I don't want to stay here for long, so I'm not interested in fighting for power." "Huh. When we first arrived here, we had the same idea as you. But later, we were all slapped in the face by time." Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Green Leopard, who was ranked 3rd, said with a laugh. There was a trace of desolation in his laughter. At this time, Yuan Tianlong also said, "Fighting for power here is useless. We have no interest in it. But if anyone can find a way to leave, everyone is willing to submit to him. I have to leave within 1,000 years. If anyone has any clues, please let me know. I'm willing to try after the mass burial glacier is over. If I can find a way, I can take everyone away for free. I don't need anyone to submit to me." Night Sorrow bowed to everyone. He knew that these people had been in the mass burial glacier for many years. They must have a deeper understanding of this place than he did. "Well said. When the mass burial glacier is over, let's have a good talk." After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Yuan Tianlong said, "All right, let's have a chat then." After saying this, Night Sorrow flew towards the star that originally belonged to Ho Yun Lai. When he flew to the star, Night Sorrow could immediately feel a thick warmth. It was obvious that the origin of this celestial body was a scorching flame. As for Night Sorrow, he stood on the celestial body and waited for a while. However, the source that the barbarian king spoke of didn't appear. He immediately said, "Celestial body origin, can you come out and meet me? Your strength is too weak. It's impossible for you to gain my recognition." At this moment, the origin replied in a loud and clear voice. After saying this, he continued, "However, if you choose to submit, I will still help you pass through the mass burial glacial ice. Even the heavens and earth are unable to make me submit. You think you can make me bow my head?" Hearing this, Yishang was immediately enraged. Even Ho Yunlai had acknowledged the existence of this source, yet it was putting on airs in front of him. It made him feel very uncomfortable. With your low cultivation, if you don't choose to submit, then prepare to die in the mass burial frigid ice. The astral origin said disdainfully when it heard Night Sorrow's words. Could it be that you didn't see me killing Ho Yunlai earlier? After the astral origin said that, Night Sorrow said coldly, "You killing him doesn't change the fact that your cultivation is low. It's impossible for me to acknowledge your cultivation." The astral origin said disdainfully again. Hearing the astral origin's words, the other Star Lords were speechless. No one would have thought that the astral origin only looked at cultivation and not strength. They immediately sympathized with Night Sorrow, because if he couldn't be acknowledged by the origin, Night Sorrow would definitely die in the mass burial glacial ice. "Me? You're just an astral origin. How dare you call yourself a Taoist in front of me? Who gave you the courage?" Night Sorrow, who had already understood the astral origin's meaning, was immediately furious. He already understood that being polite wouldn't get the other party's recognition, so he immediately prepared to attack. "Do you think you can scare me by getting angry? I won't acknowledge you. What can you do? Do you think you can sneak into the lava at the center of the astral origin and fight me?" The astral origin mocked in disdain after hearing Night Sorrow's anger. "Sneak into the lava at the center of the astral origin? I'm not interested in that, but it's very easy to deal with you. I'll just destroy the astral origin." There was a trace of anger between Yishang's brows. With a roar, he flew into the sky. He used the golden heavenly halberd and the desolation halberd to shoot the divine spear at the astral origin in front of him. The two divine spears bombarded the surface of the astral origin one after another, causing a huge explosion. In a dozen breaths, about 1/10 of the astral origin had been blasted away. You actually want to destroy the astral origin? Do you know that if the astral origin is destroyed, you won't have the ability to resist the mass burial glacial ice? Seeing Night Sorrow launch such an attack on the astral origin, the astral origin immediately scolded him. "If I destroy you, I can still fight for other astral origin. You'll soon understand that you don't have the right to show off." Night Sorrow roared and launched another attack at the celestial body. He didn't show any mercy at all. "Bastard, do you think that I'll only endure and not retaliate?" When Night Sorrow's attack bombarded the surface of the astral origin again, the astral origin immediately roared angrily. "So what if you retaliate? Who's afraid of you?" In the face of the astral origin's roar, Night Sorrow responded disdainfully and launched another attack. "I'm going to burn you to ashes." The astral origin, which had originally looked down on Night Sorrow's cultivation, was completely enraged at this moment. As it roared, it turned into a small person made of flames and flew out from the Earth's core. It suddenly spat out a mouthful of extremely hot flames at Night Sorrow. "You dare to be arrogant in front of me with just these flames?" In the face of the flames spat out by the astral origin, Night Sorrow directly used the divine essence trapping array to isolate it. Then he summoned the eternal divine tower and said, "Little 5, absorb the flames spat out by the astral origin." Okay, we can totally control flames of such intensity. Little Five replied and successfully absorbed the flames spat out by the celestial body's origin source. He's really ruthless. Seeing the battle in front of him, the barbarian emperor immediately understood that Knight Sorrow did intend to destroy the astral origin, and immediately said nervously, just as Knight Sorrow said, after destroying the astral origin in front of him, he would naturally have to compete for other astral origin. Then, he might be the unlucky one. After thinking for a while, the barbarian emperor immediately flew over from his astral origin and shouted, "Brother Knight Devil, I'm coming to help you." This barbarian emperor is really shameless. Seeing the barbarian emperor fly over to Knight Sorrow, the other astral lords couldn't sit still anymore. Apart from the top three, they all flew towards the astral origin where Knight Sorrow was. Moreover, they all attacked the astral origin. This was definitely beyond the astral origin's understanding, and it was a little dumbfounded. Chapter 33:57. Stop, all of you stop. Aren't you afraid that I'll join forces with the other astral origins to fight against you? The astral origin said fiercely after being attacked by everyone. The barbarian king snorted. "Oomph. In my opinion, it's better for you to submit, so that you won't be destroyed. As for the other origins, they won't be as unappreciative as you. Brother Knight Demon has already killed Ho Yun Lai, and you still refuse to admit it. Isn't this a provocation? How can we spoil you? That's right. If you don't choose to submit quickly, we'll kill you immediately." Wan Run, who was ranked 8th, also threatened when he saw the barbarian king trying to make his presence known. As for the other astral origins, they didn't even stand up under such circumstances. This proved that the celestial origin in front of him was obviously bluffing. The barbarian king sneered. "If you don't choose to submit, what awaits you is only destruction." At the same time, everyone attacked continuously. They weren't polite to the astral origin at all. The astral origin, who was besieged, admitted defeat helplessly. "Admit. I'm willing to acknowledge Knight Demon. You're willing to admit it? We're talking about making you submit. Do you understand?" The astral origin was willing to acknowledge Knight Sorrow, but Wan Ren immediately said disdainfully, "Submit? It's impossible for me to submit to a middle heavenly sovereign." The astral origin was enraged again. He didn't care about middle heavenly sovereigns at all. "Huh, you're still putting on airs with me in this situation. Do you think I need you to submit to me?" Knight Sorrow, who had been silent for a long time, finally spoke. "In your dreams, it's already good enough that I acknowledge you. You still want me to submit to you? Dream on." The astral origin said disdainfully again. Knight Sorrow laughed even more disdainfully. "I won't accept you even if you want to submit to me. What I'm preparing to do is to refine you into a puppet." Knight Sorrow took out the Wuji Void Cauldron and used it with the Divine Essence Trap Array to trap the astral origin inside. Then he forcibly refined it. "From now on, you'll be called an origin puppet, not an astral origin," Yishang said slowly after refining the astral body's origin. The origin golem said respectfully, "Yes, Master." The barbarian king immediately said, "Brother Knight Demon, you're really good." If he refined it into a puppet, he could still use it to pass through the mass burial glacial ice. There's no need to cooperate with the origin. I feel that Brother Knight Demon has paved a path for them. At this moment, Wan Rin said excitedly, "If all of us can refine our origins into puppets, then everyone would be able to break free from the shackles of the scorching Pure Land. Let's find a way out together." "Yeah. If we can all refine the celestial bodies into puppets and carry them with us, we can definitely leave the scorching Pure Land." Hearing this, Yuan Tianlong's interest was piqued. They've been trapped here for countless years. Usually, even if they explored the surroundings, they would only leave for a few decades at most and return before the mass burial frost arrived. This also caused them to not be able to explore far enough. Now that he had seen Yishan's actions, it was as if he had been hit in the head. He immediately reacted. At this moment, Yin Hongmei and Qing Bao were also alarmed. The three of them flew towards the celestial body that Night Sorrow was on. After flying there, Yin Hongmei cupped her fists and said to Night Sorrow, "Brother Yi, Hongmei has a presumptuous request. I hope that Brother Yi can agree to it." Before she could say the details, Yuan Tianlong continued, "My intention is the same as Yin Hongmei's. I hope that Brother Night Demon can help us lock onto the celestial body's origins when the divine origin force allows. Let's refine it. If you have any requests, Brother Night Demon can just say it. The Night Demon can understand your feelings. Although it's not easy to restrain the celestial body's origins, we can do it one by one. As for the conditions, I want to set a condition that everyone in the mass burial starfield listen to my command. This restriction will be removed immediately after we leave the mass burial starfield. What do you all think?" Night Sorrow knew that everyone wanted to refine the celestial body's origins, but they did not have any means to restrain the celestial body's origins, so they came to him one by one. Night Sorrow felt that he should use these people if he could. After all, they might encounter more dangers in the mass burial starfield. Hearing this, Yin Hongmei did not hesitate and immediately agreed. Yin Hongmei, swear that from now on, until I leave the mass burial starfield, I will serve Night Demon. If I violate this oath, I will be struck by lightning. Qing Bao, swear that from now on, until I leave the mass burial starfield, I will serve Night Demon. If I violate this oath, I will die a horrible death." Seeing Yin Hongmei swear, Qing Bao followed without hesitation. After that, Yuan Tianlong, Wan Run, and the rest began to swear. No one objected. After they finished swearing, Man Wang swore, "From today onwards, I, Man Wang, will follow Brother Night Demon forever and follow his lead." He chose to submit just like that. When they saw the barbarian king swear such an oath when Yishang proposed such generous conditions, they were immediately puzzled. They looked at him as if he was an idiot. Being stared at by everyone, Man Wang thought to himself, "Although you people are strong, you are not smart enough. Everyone will encounter many difficulties in the mass burial starfield. I choose to submit directly and will be taken care of by Brother Night Demon in the future. This could be considered a death-free golden medallion. What is there to laugh at?" After hearing Man Wang's oath, Night Sorrow could naturally see what Man Wang was thinking. He smiled and said, "Brother Man Wang, you are too polite. We can get along as brothers. There is no need to talk about submitting or not. Boss Night Demon, since I, Man Wang, have sworn to be loyal to you, this naturally cannot be changed." Seeing that Night Sorrow did not object, Man Wang immediately changed the way he addressed Night Sorrow. After Man Wang changed the way he addressed Night Sorrow, the Star Lords in front of him realized what was going on. All of them felt that this barbarian king was really a clever person. At this time, everyone looked at each other, as if they were about to make a decision. Night Sorrow smiled and said, "Everyone, don't worry. I will not take care of Man Wang too much. I am ready to attack. Who wants to go first?" "Ladies first." After Night Sorrow finished speaking, Yuan Tianlong pointed at Yin Hongmei and said, "Okay, generally speaking, Star Source cannot be separated from the Star Source. It should not be difficult for us to deal with it." Night Sorrow said, then looked at Yin Hongmei and said, "Let's begin. You lead the way." "Okay, thank you for your hard work, Boss Night Demon." Although Yin Hongmei's face was as cold as ice, she still respected Night Sorrow very much. Just like Man Wang, she called him boss. Chapter 3358. Don't be so courteous. Just call me Night Demon. Yishang felt a little awkward when Yin Hongmei called him boss of the Night Demons. Then, he accompanied Yin Hongmei to capture the celestial source. With Night Sorrow's help, the two of them spent about a day to successfully refine the celestial source into a puppet. After successfully controlling the celestial source, Yin Hongmei thanked Night Sorrow again. She said telepathically, "Night Demon, Yin Hongmei will remember your kindness. If we are lucky enough to leave Mass Burial Starfield in the future, I will be there whenever you need me. Okay, if anything happens, I won't be so courteous. Night Sorrow said politely, and then flew to the others with Yin Hongmei. Then he helped Yuan Tianlong, Green Leopard, and the others to refine the celestial source. After all 9 celestial sources were refined, everyone thanked Night Sorrow. Then Yuan Tianlong said, "Since everyone has already controlled the celestial source, let's go. Shouldn't we look for a way out together? No one wants to be trapped here forever." But 3 years later, the mass burial starfield will arrive. If we go out now, we can only travel for a year at most. Moreover, we have already scouted the surrounding dozens of years. There are no clues at all. I think we should wait for 3 years when the mass burial starfield arrives. Then we can look for a way out together. Green Leopard said. Like the others, he wanted to leave mass burial starfield as soon as possible. But when he thought about the mass burial starfield, he suddenly felt that there was no point in looking for a way out now. Upon hearing this, Wanren frowned. "You're right. I was so excited when I refined the celestial source that I forgot about the mass burial starfield. It seems like we have to think about it in 3 years' time." "What do you mean by that?" Hearing that, Yi Shang said in surprise, "We've already refined the origin of the stars, so we can do as Yuan Tianlong said. We can control the stars to leave the scorching sacred land directly. When the mass burial starfield arrives, we can use the celestial source to hide." "That's right. If not, what are we doing?" Yuan Tianlong added. Green Leopard words just now had confused him. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone on the scene finally came to their senses. Night Sorrow was going to travel with the celestial source to look for a way out. Can this idea be realized? Yuan Tianlong, who thought that Night Sorrow was going to bring the celestial source to look for an exit, asked. "I have communicated with the celestial source. This idea, we can use the celestial source as a battleship." Yi Shang continued. "In addition, there's one more thing that needs to be investigated. Should we split Starfield tests a celestial source to look for a way out? If we find a way out away burial Starfield. I think it's better if we stick together. That way, we can at least take care of each other. If there are powerful star beasts in the mass burial starfield, we can fight them together. After all, if we cooperate, the benefits will be lost." Wanren was the first to speak after Night Sorrow finished his sentence. He and King Brute were the weakest among the cultivators present. Naturally, they hoped that everyone could stick together. This was also a form of self-protection. After he finished speaking, he quickly received everyone's approval. They felt that it made sense. After all, the mass burial starfield was very vast. If the 3 groups flew in different directions, even if they could find the exit, they would not be able to contact the others. All right, since everyone wants to stick together, it's decided. Let's set off now. Night Sorrow saw that everyone had reached a consensus. Then he let the celestial source puppet control his celestial source to move forward. The rest of them followed closely behind. They had been traveling for 3 years. Just like before, they did not find any valuable clues along the way. Together, they encountered the mass burial starfield. Because everyone had refined the celestial source into a puppet, they could resist the mass burial starfield as they wished. This time, they had an easier time than before. They did not use any energy at all. When the mass burial starfield was over, everyone laughed. They felt like they had been reborn. To them, the mass burial starfield was no longer a problem. This was the best thing that could happen. After that, Night Sorrow led the group on their journey again. They continued to move forward in the same direction. This time, they'd been drifting in the mass burial starfield for 100 years. They only stopped when the mass burial starfield came again. After passing through the mass burial starfield, Yuan Tianlong said, "Everyone, we have been drifting for 100 years. Why do I feel like the scenery is the same everywhere in this starfield? Can we still find a way out? I have been observing along the way. I don't think we have taken the same path. We are not trapped by the entrapment formation. If we keep going, we will eventually reach the end." Night Sorrow replied, "Over the past 100 years, the restriction-breaking hammer in his space grotto heaven, had been observing the situation around him. It did not find any runes or formations. They were definitely not trapped by the entrapment formation. It was just that the mass burial starfield was too vast. In the past 100 years, Night Sorrow had successfully raised the Desolation Halberd to half-step to Supreme Realm 2nd grade. At the same time, he had comprehended the 100-word mantra to the 87th word. As for Yin Hengshi's superpower, he was almost done with the fusion. He was about to create a new superpower. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yuan Tianlong continued, I have a bad feeling. Is there no end to this starfield? After being trapped for so many years, we finally see hope. Why are you panicking? Are you not as calm as before now that you see hope? Yin Hongmei said. She felt that Yuan Tianlong was not as panicked as he usually was. Normally, Yuan Tianlong was more mature, which was different from the current him. Maybe I've been trapped for too long. I want to get out so badly that I lost my composure. Yuan Tianlong looked at Yin Hongmei and said with a frown, Everyone is thinking the same thing. Follow Boss Knight Demon, and we will find the exit. After all, we are immortal in terms of lifespan. At this time, Man Wang said with a smile. His current state of mind was relatively good. Hearing this, Yuan Tianlong looked at Man Wang and said with a smile, Your state of mind seems to be good. The main thing is that it is useless. We can only resign ourselves to fate. Don't you think so? Man Wang looked at Yuan Tianlong and said with a smile. He was relatively weak and did not offend anyone. He was quite popular. However, at this time, Yuan Tianlong looked at Man Wang and sneered, I feel that your life is in my hands. Chapter 33:59. My life is in your hands. Yuan Tianlong, what do you mean by that? Don't forget that we are all under Night Demon's command. Don't do anything stupid. Man Wang warned when he heard Yuan Tianlong's words. He had not expected Yuan Tianlong to behave in such a manner. He was confused and unconsciously distanced himself from Yuan Tianlong. That's right. Yuan Tianlong, what's wrong with you today? Why are you behaving so strangely? If you were joking just now, we can let bygones be bygones. If it's true, I'll stand against you. At this moment, Yin Hongmei also scolded Yuan Tianlong. Ha ha. Joking? I am not joking. Die. Yuan Tianlong laughed maniacally, and his eyes turned red. He then attacked Man Wang, who was closest to him. The attack was vicious, and it was obvious that Yuan Tianlong was not joking. He wanted to take Man Wang's life. Yuan Tianlong, what are you doing? Seeing that Yuan Tianlong was attacking Man Wang, Yin Hongmei immediately attacked him to stop him. At this moment, the barbarian king had been sucked into Night Sorrow's space. Night Sorrow was trying to prevent him from being killed by Yuan Tianlong. I'm going to kill all of you. Yuan Tianlong, whose eyes had turned completely blood red, had a hint of brutality between his brows. His aura was getting stronger and stronger. At the same time, the cold energy was increasing. Finally, he stopped at the peak of half-step to Supreme Realm. He was only one step away from level 4. This was a level that he had not reached for hundreds of years. After Yuan Tianlong's aura changed, 3 other people started to experience the same change. The 3 of them were Feng Yunlai, Meng Tian, and Tree Supreme. The 3 of them were similar to Yuan Tianlong. The only difference was that their eyes were filled with coldness. It did not look red. Look at their eyes and aura. Their eyes might have been controlled by other creatures in the mass burial ice just now. Night Sorrow, who had activated the sea serpent's eye, observed the changes in the 4 of them. At the same time, he gathered Yin Hongmei, Green Leopard, and Wan Jun together and let Man Wang out. The 5 of them faced off against Yuan Tianlong and the other 3. You are no match for the 4 of us. Prepare to die. The mysterious creature that had taken control of Yuan Tianlong did not hesitate to attack again. At this moment, his posture was much more stooped than Yuan Tianlong's, and he preferred to fight in close combat. And the target he had chosen was Yi Shan. Feng Yunlai, Meng Tian, and Tree Supreme, who were also being controlled, faced off against Yin Hongmei, Qing Bao, and Wan Jun. Seeing the controlled Yuan Tianlong attacking Night Sorrow, the barbarian king roared and came to help. However, as soon as the barbarian king appeared, his stomach was clawed open by Chao Yuan Tianlong's claw, and his dantian was almost shattered. Seeing this, Night Sorrow frowned and said, "The current Yuan Tianlong is not someone you can fight against. You should recover and help the others. I'll deal with him." "All right, Boss Night Demon, be careful." The barbarian king knew that the gap between him and Yuan Tianlong was too big. There was nothing he could do to help Night Sorrow. So he swallowed an elixir and recovered. He was going to help Yin Hongmei defeat her opponent, Feng Yunlai. Feng Yunlai was originally ranked 9th among the 9, and his strength was obviously weaker than Yin Hongmei. But after being possessed by the mysterious creature, his body was filled with horrifying cold energy. In the battle, Yin Hongmei was quickly suppressed. It was very uncomfortable. Qing Bao and Yin Hongmei were in the same situation. Mang Tian's strength had also increased greatly. Both sides were evenly matched in the battle. Wan Ren's opponent was Tree Supreme, and he was completely suppressed. When the barbarian king flew to Yin Hongmei's side, Yin Hongmei shouted, "Go and help Wan Ren. The two of you fight 2 against 1, and take down Tree Supreme quickly." "All right." The barbarian king, who had wanted to follow behind Yin Hongmei, immediately went to help Wan Ren. With the barbarian king's help, Wan Ren's situation turned for the better. But it was only a stalemate. The 3 battles were all in a stalemate. The mysterious creature that was controlling Yuan Tianlong's body. Looking at Night Sorrow, he revealed a sinister smile and said, "Looks like our battle will be the deciding battle. I know very well that you're stronger than them." "Is that so? Then do you know how strong I am?" Night Sorrow, who was fighting Yuan Tianlong, revealed a cold smile. At this moment, he could feel the cold energy from his opponent, and he was affected by it. Immediately, he summoned the Astral Source to help him in the battle. With the addition of the Astral Source, the effect of Yuan Tianlong's cold attack was weakened by a lot. Seeing that the Astral Source was effective, and Yuan Tianlong did not summon the Astral Source, Night Sorrow immediately reminded everyone. They seemed to be unable to summon the Astral Source. Everyone summoned the Astral Source to fight. "All right, I thought that they could control the Astral Source to fight, so I did not summon it." Hearing Night Sorrow's reminder, Qing Bao immediately said excitedly. At this moment, he was severely affected by his opponent's cold attack. Now that he had summoned the Astral Source, the situation turned for the better. After all, the Astral Source could help them get through the chaotic burial chilling ice. Suppressing the cold in front of them was a piece of cake. Damn it! Seeing that Night Sorrow had discovered the problem, the mysterious creature that was controlling Yuan Tianlong was enraged. It began to attack him even more ferociously. Although the mysterious creature's cultivation level was very high, its attacks were all of the ice attribute, which was perfectly countered by the Astral Source. It did not pose a threat to Night Sorrow at all. "I did not expect you to only have such combat power." When Night Sorrow faced the mysterious creature that was controlling Yuan Tianlong, he did not expect to be able to suppress it so easily. Now, he was more or less surprised. "It's too early for you to be happy. Even if I don't use the ice attribute, I can still kill you." The enraged mysterious creature took out an ice spear after being suppressed by Night Sorrow and mocked continuously. It then began a fight with Night Sorrow in close combat. Great! This is the kind of battle I like. Seeing that the mysterious creature that was controlling Yuan Tianlong had chosen to fight with him in close combat, Night Sorrow immediately used the Ocean Roaming Dragon and combined it with the Qingxian Divine Spear Art to fight with the mysterious creature. The two of them were locked in a stalemate for a few moments. Suddenly, Night Sorrow held the Desolation War Halberd and the Golden Heavenly Halberd in his hands and used the Extreme Flame Show Mother Spear. When the Extreme Flame Show Mother Spear was used, the Desolation War Halberd and the Golden Heavenly Halberd turned into 2 streaks of light and shot towards the mysterious creature. Just as the mysterious creature was about to dodge, Night Sorrow threw out the Wuji Void Cauldron. Chapter 3360. At the same time, he used the Wuji Void Cauldron to suppress the void. Night Sorrow used the Divine Origin Trapping Array and the 100 Words Mantra. He had mastered 87 words, but he could only use 33 of them against the mysterious creature. These 33 words were meant to weaken the creature. After being weakened by the 3 words, the mysterious creature that possessed Yuan Tianlong was restrained on the spot. It could not dodge Night Sorrow's extreme, flaming mother-child gun and was hit by it. Boom! Yuan Tianlong, who was restrained, was hit by the attack and half of his body was torn apart. However, because it was Yuan Tianlong's body, Night Sorrow controlled it and did not shatter his elixir field. If Yuan Tianlong's elixir field was shattered, he would be crippled even if he was out of control. Night Sorrow had not given up on his ally yet. Do you think his spiritual body can still control this body? Ha ha ha. Let me tell you, that's impossible. As for the elixir field, I don't need it. After being blasted away, the mysterious creature laughed maliciously. Then, Yuan Tianlong's flesh and blood recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. However, the flesh and blood he recovered were all ice. After the ice filled Yuan Tianlong's body, there were white and red colors on his body, making him look extremely evil. Are you a holy spirit formed by ice? How dare you touch my friend? I will not let you go. Night Sorrow said coldly when he saw Yuan Tianlong's condition. At this point, he did not even need to use the eye of the sea serpent to know what was going on. What I am is not important. What's important is that all of you will be killed and devoured to increase our strength. Once our strength increases to a certain level, we will be able to break the barrier and leave the mass burial starfield. We will then kill and devour all the cultivators from Killer Heaven Academy. The Holy Spirit that was controlling Yuan Tianlong's body roared angrily. It was obvious that he had a grudge against Killer Heaven Academy. Barrier? There's a barrier here? Hearing this, Night Sorrow's heart skipped a beat, but he didn't show any excitement. He sneered, "Even if you frost holy spirits can leave the mass burial starfield, you won't be able to do anything because you don't have the strength." At the same time, the thought of capturing the other party alive rose in his mind. He planned to slowly interrogate the other party about the barrier after capturing him. Asking under such circumstances would naturally not yield any useful answers. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the Holy Ice Spirit responded coldly. "Whether or not we can do anything has nothing to do with you, because all of you will soon be killed, because we will continue to grow stronger. But you won't." As soon as he finished speaking, he launched another attack at Night Sorrow. This time, the Holy Frost Spirit's battle prowess was clearly stronger than before. Night Sorrow was clearly having a hard time fighting, but he summoned his astral body's origin to help him fight the Holy Frost Spirit. After an extremely difficult battle, Night Sorrow once again used the extreme Flame Mother-Child Spear to destroy the Holy Frost Spirit's body. However, not long after, he reassembled his body. After the reassembly, his body was almost completely of the ice attribute. His aura had also become stronger, and he was almost at the level of half-step to 4th stage Supreme Realm. If this goes on, won't he advance to 4th stage half-step to the Supreme Realm when his body is completely of the ice attribute? If that's the case, I'm afraid I won't be able to defeat him even with the help of the astral body's origin. So this time, I must find a way to capture him. At this moment, Night Sorrow glanced at the other battles and realized that the 3 groups were not looking good. Although Night Sorrow's group had the help of the astral body's origin, they were helpless. These Frost Holy Spirits were becoming stronger and stronger after each reassembly process. They were on the verge of losing control. The pressure on the people fighting the Frost Holy Spirits began to increase. They were on the verge of collapsing. Brother Night Demon, if this Frost Holy Spirit's strength increases again, I won't be able to hold him off. Noticing that Night Sorrow was checking on the battle, Green Leopard immediately sent a message to him. He realized that if he destroyed the Frost Holy Spirit again, he would not be able to bear the consequences. This was because the Frost Holy Spirit's strength had increased too much as its body changed. At the same time, they knew that Yuan Tianlong, Feng Yunlai, Meng Tian, and Tree Sage would not be able to come back. The opponents in front of them were real enemies. There was no need to show mercy. Now, they had turned from a team of 9 to a team of 5. You guys hold them off first. Don't attack them anymore. These Frost Holy Spirits are very hard to kill. Let me think of a way to capture this one. The main thing is to capture him, then things will be easier. After Night Sorrow sent a message to Green Leopard, he also sent a message to Yin Hongmei, Wan Run, and Meng Wan. He told them that they just needed to hold on. As for him, he was thinking about how he could capture the Frost Holy Spirit in front of him. At this time, Little Five suddenly sent a message to him. If you can do it, injure it severely again. When it is regenerating, I will suck it into the eternal divine tower. Its regenerating speed is very fast. It can be done in a second. Are you sure you can do it? If it is regenerated again, the consequences will be unimaginable. Night Sorrow asked seriously. I'm not 100% sure, but if you use the Merit Trap Array to trap it temporarily, the chances will increase by a lot. This kind of Holy Spirit has the attribute of frost. However, it is very bloody and evil. I think the Merit energy will be able to suppress it. Little Five quickly analyzed. Upon hearing this, Night Sorrow replied, All right, I will use the Merit Trap Array to trap it. I will also use the Wuji Void Cauldron to cooperate with it. As for how to destroy it, that is none of your business. All right, release the Eternal Divine Tower. After Little Five finished speaking, Night Sorrow summoned it and hung it on his waist. As for Night Sorrow, he once again battled the Holy Frost Spirit, whose strength had increased. This time, the astral energy source could no longer block the Frost Holy Spirit's attack. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow took out the Silver Dragon Void Shield that Vice President Ji Xian had given him to defend against the Frost Holy Spirit's attack. After that, he looked for an opportunity to use the same trick again. He controlled the Frost Holy Spirit and used the Extreme Flame Mother-Child Spear again. However, this time, the Frost Holy Spirit blocked the attack easily. Hee. Do you think the same attack can defeat me 3 or 4 times in a row? What a joke. The Frost Holy Spirit that had not suffered any damage was almost completely immune to Night Sorrow's Extreme Flame Mother-Child Spear. He let out a disdainful smile. Pian, want to see if I can shadow you again with the same move. At this time, Night Sorrow roared. He burned his Phoenix bloodline, Yuja bloodline, and Leakin bloodline to increase his strength. Chapter 33:61. After burning all his bloodline power, Night Sorrow activated the Treistrimsa Combat Mystic Art and Destruction Mystic Art again. He used the Divine Origin Trap Array, 100-Word Mantra, and Extreme Flame Mother-Child Spears again. Boom! The attack landed on the Holy Frost Spirit's body again. This time, the attack had a certain effect. It directly shattered half of the Holy Frost Spirit's body. And this attack was exactly what the Frost Holy Spirit had been waiting for. After being hit by this attack, the Frost Holy Spirit's body quickly recovered. After it recovered, its body was no different from a 4th-stage half-step Supreme Realm. It was just a little weaker in terms of strength. Ha! Thank you for your attack. I'm invincible now. Sensing that the Frost Holy Spirit had completely transformed into a Holy Spirit, it laughed heartily. In its opinion, Night Sorrow's attack was completely helpful. It's too early for you to be happy. Do you think I only know how to attack repeatedly? Void Extreme Flame Palm. Right at this moment, Night Sorrow suddenly roared loudly, and then he suddenly slapped his palm towards the Ice Saint Spirit. This palm strike was the result of his research on the Void Severing Palm, as well as his understanding of bloodline power and other types of power. Because it was the first time he attacked, Night Sorrow was not sure what kind of effect it would have. but he felt that the Void Extreme Flame Palm was more likely to destroy the Frost Holy Spirit's body than the Extreme Flame Mother-Child Spears. Do you think I'll just stay here and take your attacks? Ice Epic. The Frost Holy Spirit, whose strength had been raised to the highest level, attacked with his own attack. The moment he attacked, the void in front of him and Night Sorrow immediately froze. It slowed down Night Sorrow's Void Extreme Flame Palm by a lot. At this moment, the void transmitted a message to the astral origin. Think of a way to destroy the Ice Epic. Yes, Master. The celestial body origin responded and released endless flames into the surroundings. Under its control, these flames quickly fought against the ice summoned by the Frost Holy Spirit. As the saying went, water and fire were incompatible. Ice and fire were even more incompatible. They fought against each other and started to devour each other. However, the Holy Frost Spirit seal on Night Sorrow had weakened significantly. Under such circumstances, Night Sorrow added the 9 steps of the Defiant of the Heavens and the Ocean Wandering Dragon to the Void Extreme Flame Palm. He raised his foot to a certain degree and slammed it towards the Holy Frost Spirit. Just as the Holy Frost Spirit was about to escape, Night Sorrow suddenly cast a virtuous trapping formation on it. The Holy Frost Spirit, who originally thought that this was still the divine essence trapping formation, saw that it was trapped again and said disdainfully, "Looks like the methods you know are really simple. Now that my strength has been raised to the 4th grade of the half-step supreme realm, I can break your trap formation with a flick of my finger." In the eyes of the Holy Frost Spirit, Night Sorrow's actions were laughable. However, right after he attacked the trapping array, he immediately suffered a backlash from the power of virtue. The Holy Frost Spirit became extremely weak the moment it was hit by the power of virtue. At that instant, Night Sorrow slammed his palm onto the Holy Frost Spirit's body, shattering it instantly. At the same time, he transmitted his voice, "Little 5, hurry up and do it." "Okay, I've already prepared it." Little 5 responded and used the Eternal Divine Tower to absorb the broken pieces of the Holy Ice Spirit into the Eternal Divine Tower. When the Holy Frost Spirit regained its body in the Eternal Divine Tower, it was dumbfounded. It realized that it had been trapped in a boundless world. It had the strength of a 4th grade half-step supreme realm, but it could not use it at all. At that moment, it roared unwillingly. What was that energy just now? The power of virtue. It's specially used to restrain demons like you. Wait until I'm done with your companions. Then I'll interrogate you. Night Sorrow instantly heaved a sigh of relief after controlling the strongest Holy Frost Spirit. At that moment, the Green Leopard was having a hard time fighting. It was constantly being suppressed by the Holy Frost Spirit in front of it. It had already retreated hundreds of thousands of miles. Night Sorrow flew for a while before he came close. He said, "My opponent has been dealt with. Now I'll help you." "Thank you, Brother Night Demon. These things are really difficult to deal with." When the Green Leopard saw that Night Sorrow had come to help, he instantly felt relieved. Just as he was about to relax, the Holy Ice Spirit conjured an ice spear and thrust it toward his Danteon. Seeing this attack, the Green Leopard shouted, "This is bad," because he could not dodge this attack at all. At that moment, Night Sorrow smiled and said, "With me here, it won't be bad." As he spoke, he used the Divine Origin Trap Array and imprisoned the ice spear 100 meters away from the Green Leopard. Then, he struck out with his palm and directly shattered it. "Thank you, Brother Night Demon, for saving my life. I, the Green Leopard, won't say any more words of thanks. After we get out, if you need anything, just ask. All right, when the time comes, I won't be courteous." Night Sorrow said and continued, "Next, let's quickly take down the Holy Frost Spirit in front of us. Otherwise, accidents will happen to the others if we delay too long." "All right, I'll fully cooperate with you." The Green Leopard agreed. Facing such a strange creature, even he felt very uncomfortable, not to mention Yin Hongmei, Wan Run, Man Wang, and the rest. Under the joint attack of Night Sorrow, and the green leopard. Although the holy frost spirit in front of them tried its best to fight back, it was still shattered by Knight Sorrow's void flaming palm in the end. After shattering it, Knight Sorrow did not give it a chance to reassemble. Instead, he got Xiaowu to keep it in the eternal divine tower. Brother Knight Demon, you're amazing. With your talent and skills, you'll definitely become a pillar of the Killer Heaven Academy in the future. Unfortunately, we're all sinners of the Killer Heaven Academy. Even if we get out, we'll be targeted. The Green Leopard praised and said at the same time, Hee, Brother Green Leopard, you must be joking. If I wasn't a sinner in their eyes, why would I be exiled to the mass burial star region? We're all in the same boat. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Hearing this, the Green Leopard immediately said, I didn't expect that with your talent, Brother Knight Demon, you would still be treated like this. The vice principals of the Killer Heaven Academy are really blind now. Vice Principal Ji Xian valued my talent, but I killed Nan Gong and Andrew's people, so I was exiled here. As Knight Sorrow spoke, he brought the Green Leopard to help Yin Hongmei. She was facing the Holy Frost Spirit alone, and the pressure was even greater than the Green Leopard. However, her tenacity was obviously stronger than the Green Leopard. Under the situation of being suppressed, she had been gritting her teeth and persevering. She did not ask for help at all. So you're also Andrew and Nan Gong's enemy. Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, the Green Leopard immediately looked as if he had seen one of his own. When he came in, he was not Vice Principal Ji Xian's man, but he was definitely Andrew and Nan Gong's enemy. I'll definitely take revenge for my grudge with them in the future. If you also have a grudge with them, I can bring you along. While helping Yin Hongmei, Knight Sorrow transmitted his voice to the Green Leopard. Chapter 3362. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Green Leopard immediately sent a voice transmission. If Brother Knight Sorrow can help me take revenge, I will follow you. Green Leopard will serve you for the rest of my life. Oh, Brother Green Leopard, do you have a huge grudge against Andrew and Nan Gonghe? Knight Sorrow, who was fighting against the Holy Ice Spirit, asked through voice transmission. After suppressing 2 of them in a row, he already had the confidence and means to deal with the Holy Ice Spirit. The battle was no longer as difficult as before. The grudge is huge. Andrew killed my wife with his own hands. Nan Gonghe killed my parents with her own hands. Later on, they took the supreme treasure of my race, a half-step supreme realm 5th grade divine artifact, the peerless green scepter. In the end, they threw me into the chaotic burial star field on the charge of betraying the academy. They let me suffer the torture of losing my family forever. Qing Bao enunciated each word through voice transmission. His hatred for Andrew and Nan Gong, he was much greater than Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow used the power of virtue to judge and confirmed that Green Leopard's words were not exaggerated at all. He immediately said, Our enemies are the same. If we can get out, we can take revenge together. However, they're all 4th grade powerhouses and the forces behind them are huge. Our strength is a little weaker, so we need to wait for revenge. I can wait. I can wait for my whole life. But with my strength, I can't take revenge at all. Brother Knight Devil, please accept me. Green Leopard said through voice transmission. He might as well surrender. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said, That's fine too. You and the Barbarian King can follow me from now on. After saying this, Knight Sorrow and Yin Hongmei shattered the Holy Ice Spirit in front of them and controlled it. Thank you, Knight Devil. This time, it's all thanks to you that we broke through first. Otherwise, we would all have died. After defeating the Holy Ice Spirit, Yin Hongmei thanked him. We're all friends, so there's no need to be so polite. It's a pity that the 4 of them can't be saved. Knight Sorrow sighed. This matter made them understand that even with the help of the astral sources, it was still possible for them to die in the chaotic burial star field. After leaving the place where they were before, the crisis officially began. That's right. Everyone had been together for so many years, and quite a few of them had died just like that. Let's go help Wan Ren and Barbarian King. Although it's 2 against 1, they are still having a hard time fighting. Yin Hongmei also sighed and suggested, "Let's go." Knight Sorrow nodded and led Qing Bao and Yin Hongmei to help the other 2. Seeing the arrival of Knight Sorrow and the others, the barbarian king's bitter face suddenly revealed a smile. He looked at the holy ice spirit provocatively and said, "You mother of asterisk cur, why don't you try and fight with me?" When it saw Knight Sorrow and the others rushing over, the holy ice spirit thought for a moment and suddenly turned into ice and snow, fleeing in a certain direction. He knew that he was no match for Knight Sorrow and the others. "If you were the holy frost spirit, where would you run to?" Knight Sorrow asked with a smile when he saw the holy frost spirit running away. "Naturally, I'm going to look for help." The barbarian king immediately replied. Yes, he must have gone to look for help. But where would he go to look for it? It must be the nest of the holy frost spirit. According to my analysis, their lair is definitely not far from the barrier. As long as we follow them, we will be able to find the barrier. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he continued, "If you trust me, enter my space grotto heaven. Let's not bring these astral bodies with us for now. Let's check out the nest of the holy frost spirit and see how many enemies there are." "Okay, Boss Knight Demon, I trust you." This time it was the barbarian king who spoke first again. After the barbarian king was summoned, Qing Bao also spoke, "Count me in." After that, Yin Hongmei and Wan Ren also spoke. After summoning them into the space grotto heaven, Knight Sorrow inscribed a concealment rune on himself. Using the movement technique taught by the 2 Supremes, he chased after the Holy Frost Spirit in front of him. While chasing after the Holy Frost Spirit, Knight Sorrow sent a voice transmission to Yin Hongmei. "Can a few of you split up and interrogate the captured Holy Frost Spirit?" "Okay, I like to interrogate." The barbarian king nodded and asked, "Where's the captured Holy Frost Spirit?" "I'll interrogate one in my divine artifact," Yi Shang said, and then had the eternal divine tower suck them in. He began to interrogate the 3 holy frost spirits. He continued to follow behind the holy frost spirit in front of him. The holy frost spirit thought that was fast enough in the mass burial starfield, but it did not manage to shake off Knight Sorrow at all. After flying for about 5 years, he finally returned to the nest of the holy frost spirit. It was an ice river. There were many holy frost spirits in the ice river. However, the strength of these holy frost spirits was uneven. There were not many who had reached the half-step to Supreme Realm. Knight Sorrow stood at a safe distance and used the sea serpent's eye to observe. He discovered that in the nest of the holy frost spirit, there were about 10 half-step to Supreme Realm experts. Among them, the strongest one was a half-step to Supreme Realm expert. He was slightly stronger than the one Knight Sorrow was fighting. There were also thousands of heavenly sovereigns and a large number of earthly sovereigns. Above the holy frost spirit's lair, there was a vast expanse of space that was filled with dense mist. Knight Sorrow, who had activated the sea serpent's eye, observed carefully and discovered that behind the mist was a 100-mile square barrier. He immediately sent a voice transmission to everyone. "How's the interrogation going? If you didn't find anything, don't continue. I've already found the way out." "Really? You found the barrier that the Holy Frost Spirit mentioned?" Hearing this, Green Leopard asked excitedly. He was more excited than anyone else. "Yes. However, if we want to get out, I'm afraid we have to go through the Holy Frost Spirit, because the barrier is above the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit. Among the Holy Frost Spirits, there are about 10 half-step to Supreme Realm experts. They're not easy to deal with." Knight Sorrow continued. Hearing this, Yin Hongmei said, "It's good that there's hope. If we can suppress 3 of them, we can suppress 3 more. We just have to split them up and attack them one by one." "Yes, we need to think of a plan," Knight Sorrow said as he observed the nest of the Holy Frost Spirit. At this time, the barbarian king suddenly said, "Boss Knight Demon, I found something from the interrogation." "Oh, what did you find out? Is it useful?" Before Knight Sorrow could speak, Green Leopard asked first. I found out that every time the mass burial polar ice comes, these holy frost spirits will split into several groups and follow the mass burial polar ice to hunt the creatures in the void. When they come out to hunt again, we can attack their nest. The barbarian king said proudly. Very good. The information you found is very useful. With this information, these holy frost spirits could be used to refine puppets, right? They can increase our strength by a lot. Yin Hongmei said. Chapter 3363. It's possible to turn them into puppets. But now that we've alerted the holy frost spirits, their hunting will definitely change. It should be difficult to separate them. Night Sorrow said after the barbarian king and Yin Hongmei finished talking. The Holy Frost Spirit tribe had so many half-step to supreme realm experts. They were definitely not a tribe of fools. It was impossible for them to know about their existence and hunt in small groups. They were too naive. He looked into the distance with the sea serpent's eye and continued. If nothing goes wrong, we'll have to face the entire tribe of Holy Frost Spirits. Overall, we're not as strong as them, so we have to think of a way to deal with them. Should we set up a formation and lure them in to kill them? After Yishang finished speaking, Yin Hongmei spoke up. She could tell that they were indeed at a disadvantage in terms of strength. They were basically no match for the Holy Frost Spirits. It was a good choice to set up a formation. I don't think it's easy to achieve. They're not stupid. They won't fall into a trap so easily. But we can control the stars and crash into the Holy Frost Spirits in front of us. Maybe it'll be very effective. Green Leopard looked at the habitat of the Holy Frost Spirits in front of them. Although he couldn't see it clearly, he still speculated. In his opinion, a simple and direct attack should be the most effective. If the 9 stars all crashed into the habitat of the Holy Frost Spirits, it would definitely be very effective. Night Sorrow nodded and said, "It'll be effective if we do that. But if we use up all the stars, we'll have to destroy the Holy Frost Spirits in a few decades and break the barrier to leave the mass burial starfield. Otherwise, we won't be able to stop the next mass burial starfield. If we can get out, it's not a big deal to use up all the stars. As for risking everything, we're willing to give it a try." The barbarian king looked at the barrier above the Holy Frost Spirits and said expectantly, "For cultivators like them who had been trapped in the mass burial starfield for countless years, they were willing to pay any price." Green Leopard and Wan Ren also agreed. The two of them had been trapped for many years and were already indifferent to everything. They just wanted to get out as soon as possible. It's good that everyone is determined. Also, we still have about 100 years. Don't be too anxious. I'll interrogate the few of them. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he ordered the others to keep an eye on the Holy Glacial Spirits while he began to interrogate the Holy Glacial Spirits. He wanted to find out the weaknesses of the Holy Frost Spirit so that he could gain an advantage in the battle. However, although these Holy Ice Spirits had already submitted to the Barbarian King, when they faced Night Sorrow, their eyes were full of murderous intent, as if they wanted to tear him apart. It gave people the feeling that it was like a tiger or a leopard that had been restrained. It was a bit of a beast that was difficult to tame. Night Sorrow, who was sizing up the Frost Holy Spirits, saw their expressions and immediately confirmed that these Frost Holy Spirits hated him to the core. This was to be expected. After all, these Holy Frost Spirits were basically captured because of his power of virtue. It seems like you hate me a lot, but you have to understand, the winner takes all. This is the law of the world. Tell me the weakness of the Holy Frost Spirit, and I will consider letting you go." Night Sorrow said coldly as he stood in front of the Holy Frost Spirits. However, after he spoke, the Holy Frost Spirits ignored him. It was obvious that they hated him to the core. At this time, Night Sorrow said mockingly, "If you were really brave, why would you tell me about the Holy Frost Spirit tribe's hunting?" However, the Holy Frost Spirits still did not speak. From their looks, it was clear that they weren't going to bother with Yishang. It's okay if you don't want to talk. You can still realize your self-worth. Night Sorrow did not torture the holy frost spirits in front of him. He said coldly, "However, after this, you won't have the chance to talk even if you want to." After saying that, he sent a voice transmission to the rest of the people. "Everyone, can you trust me?" If the holy frost spirits did not cooperate, he was going to use his power of virtue to kill all of them and turn them into his power of virtue. He was going to increase their strength. According to Night Sorrow's estimation, after killing the holy frost spirits, his power of virtue would not be too far away from his cultivation level, even if it would not be able to catch up with his cultivation level. To him, this would be a huge increase in strength. In the battle with the holy frost spirits, it would be very useful. Of course we trust you. Without Brother Night Demon, we would have died long ago. Why do you say so? Yin Hongmei asked after replying to him. After that, the rest of the people asked the same question. Hearing this, Night Sorrow replied, "I am going to refine the holy frost spirits in front of me. This will increase my strength by a lot. It will give me the ability to fight against the holy frost spirits who are at half step to Supreme Realm. However, if I refine all of them, you won't have any puppets to refine. Let's discuss this first. I will definitely support you." Yin Hongmei replied and started to discuss with Green Leopard, Wan Run, and the Barbarian King. Not long after, Yin Hongmei, as the representative, said, "Brother Night Demon, just do it. We will all support you. After all, if you become stronger, our strength will increase." Okay, then, Night Devil thanks everyone. Night Sorrow replied to Yin Hongmei and looked at the holy frost spirits in front of him again. He said, "I will give you one last chance. Tell me everything you know. Otherwise, you will completely disappear from this world." After he finished speaking, the holy frost spirits were still glaring at him angrily. They had no intention of speaking at all. At this moment, Night Sorrow laughed coldly and said, "Very good. I will support your choice. And all of you will be my help in destroying the holy frost spirit tribe." After he finished speaking, he used his power of merit and attacked one of the holy frost spirits. In the eternal divine tower, this holy frost spirit would definitely not have the ability to fight back. Soon, it was killed by Night Sorrow and turned into golden power of merit and entered its body. At this moment, one of the holy frost spirits cursed loudly, "You devil!" At this moment, he wanted to self-destruct, but he did not have the ability to do so. He could only be slaughtered. "You are the devil. Otherwise, my 4 companions would not have died. Remember, those who kill will be killed by others." After he finished speaking, Night Sorrow attacked again and killed the holy frost spirits in front of him. He absorbed all the power of merit that they had turned into. At that instant, his force of good fortune skyrocketed. Finally, it stopped at the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level and was only a hair's breadth away from his cultivation. It is indeed as I have predicted. Now that I have reached the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level, I should be able to fight a 4th grade holy frost spirit. After his power of merit increased to the peak of the lower heavenly sovereign level, Night Sorrow's temperament changed greatly. Chapter 3364. Every movement of his had a different Taoist rhyme to it. Yishan's body was surrounded by a faint layer of light. It looked like he was covered by a layer of Buddha's light. But the light of merit was different from the Buddha's light. It had a kind of natural and sacred feeling. He felt the changes brought about by the increase in his light of merit. Night Sorrow practiced the use of this power in the eternal divine tower. Then, he retracted the light. After he was familiar with the new level, Little Seven immediately congratulated him. "Night Sorrow, congratulations on your improvement. Your light of merit has increased to this level. It should be easy to deal with the Holy Frost Spirit." "I hope so. But the Holy Frost Spirit in the 4th stage, half-supreme realm, should be the Holy Frost Spirit King. It will not be easy to deal with like the other Holy Frost Spirits." Night Sorrow thought for a while and said, when he observed the Holy Frost Spirit in the 4th stage half-supreme realm, he felt that it was different from the others. He knew that the next battle would not be easy. Of course, maybe he has a treasure in his hands. or you can use some other power. After all, he could be the leader of a tribe. But I think you can still destroy them. Little Seven agreed, but he was still very confident in Knight's sorrow. At this moment, Little Five asked, "Your light of merit has increased so much. Are you going to lead the people outside to fight the Holy Frost Spirit directly?" A pure head-on fight is not likely to happen. At least, we will use the 9 celestial bodies to attack the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resides. Knight's sorrow said, "Since that is the case, I think you should control more celestial bodies and give him a reign of celestial bodies." Little Five suggested after hearing Knight Sorrow's words. "Oh, how can this matter of yours be realized? After all, many of the celestial bodies that we have discovered are easily destroyed." Knight Sorrow asked curiously. He felt that Little Five must have had a plan. The celestial bodies that we have encountered are easily destroyed. But there are many celestial bodies floating above the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resides. I think with your strength, you can sneak in and control some of the celestial bodies. Then you can attack the ice river where their aura is. Little Five said slowly. This was his judgment, which came from his endless trust in Night Sorrow. "You are right. I will go out and study it with them." Night Sorrow thought and felt that it was feasible. Then he prepared to leave the Eternal Divine Tower. At this moment, Little Five reminded him, "Night Sorrow, your aura has undergone a great change. Be careful not to expose your power of virtue." "Don't worry, I won't. With the help of the mist breathing technique, this is not a problem." After cultivating the fog breathing technique, Night Sorrow could easily conceal the characteristics of various powers. He didn't have to worry about this at all. Then, the Holy Frost Spirit of Life of the Holy, Holy, Holy of the Divine God, S's. Using the eye of the sea serpent, Night Sorrow found that some of the celestial bodies were not affected by the ice. But there were Holy Frost Spirits on these celestial bodies. It was very difficult to control them without anyone noticing. After all, the Holy Frost Spirits were very vigilant at this moment. In my opinion, why don't we go back and bring the celestial bodies here and use them to launch a wave of attacks? While we are busy, we can take advantage of the chaos to attack the other celestial bodies. We can directly destroy the ice river of the Holy Frost Spirits. In my opinion, the ice river is the source of the Holy Frost Spirit's power. Night Sorrow analyzed the difficulty of this matter. The barbarian king said he had always relied on the latter to survive until now. He mainly relied on his ability to judge the situation. Hearing this, Yin Hongmei immediately agreed. "I think it's possible. Let's take it all and destroy the Holy Frost Spirits. Then, we will have a chance to break the barrier and return to the endless sea of stars to start a new life." "That's good. Although it's not a foolproof plan, we can give it a try." After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow set up some teleportation portals in the void. He said, "When we came, we were in a hurry. I didn't set up any portals. Now I'll guard here. You guys go back over there and set up the teleportation portals. We'll use the portals to go back and forth." He felt that flying back and forth was too much of a waste of time. "Okay, then we'll have to trouble you, Boss Knight Demon." After the Barbarian King finished speaking, he looked at the others and said, "Boss Knight Demon has the best eyesight. He can see the Holy Frost Spirit's movements. Let's go immediately." "Okay, let's go." Green Leopard looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. At this time, Yin Hongmei said, "Brother Knight Demon, you have to be careful. If something goes wrong, run away immediately." "Don't worry, I'll protect myself." Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that he could only monitor the situation if he stayed here. The others did not have the ability to see the ice river clearly. After the Barbarian King and the others left, he hid in the void and observed the Holy Frost Spirit's movements. After the incident, these Holy Frost Spirits became much more vigilant. At the same time, they stayed in the ice river and did not leave their homes. They were like tigers that did not leave their caves. After 3 years of observation, they did not make any movements. Night Sorrow transmitted his voice. "Little Five, after the battle, how many attacks can you use the Eternal Divine Tower to attack? The more powerful attacks should only be 2. Little 5 replied, truthfully. Okay, then you guys should also absorb this Dragon Heavenly Ship. Night Sorrow took out the Dragon Heavenly Ship and sent it into the Eternal Divine Tower. This Dragon Heavenly Ship was a very good flying divine tool, but he felt that if he could not leave, any treasure would be useless. So he took it out directly. Okay, after absorbing this Dragon Heavenly Ship, it should be able to brew another 2 to 3 attacks. Little 5 responded and began to control the Eternal Divine Tower to absorb the Dragon Heavenly Ship's power. In about 3 months' time, it completely absorbed the Dragon Heavenly Ship's power and brewed 2 attacks. In this way, after the battle began, the Eternal Divine Tower could unleash its most powerful attacks 4 times. As for ordinary attacks, it could unleash about 10 times. But such attacks were useless against a half-step to the Supreme Realm. Therefore, it could be ignored. In the next year or so, because he had nothing to do, Yishang monitored the movements of the Frost Holy Spirit. He began to study the 100 Words mantra. He comprehended 2 new words. In this way, the number of mantras he had mastered had reached 91. Just after he comprehended a new word mantra, the Barbarian King returned to Night Sorrow's side through the teleportation portal. He said, "Boss Night Devil, we have finished our arrangements and controlled the other people's celestial bodies. We are just waiting for you to return and summon your own celestial body." Chapter 33:65. Good. You've done well, Night Sorrow said. Without any hesitation, he returned to the scorching holy land through the portal and took control of the celestial bodies. He did not say anything about the others taking control of the 2 celestial bodies. He gathered everyone together and said, "Let's use the portal to send the celestial bodies over. Those icy holy spirits will definitely notice it. So, don't hesitate when you land. Just send the celestial bodies over. Then, the battle of life and death will begin. Remember what we need to do. Boss Night Devil, we have rehearsed what you said thousands of times in our hearts. We won't make a mistake." Green Leopard promised after hearing Night Sorrow's words. What they wanted the most was to leave. Naturally, they would do their best in this matter. Good. Everyone, pay attention to your safety during the battle. If anyone can't handle it, send me a message immediately. I will keep them in the Grotto Heaven, Night Sorrow said. Then, he ordered, "There's no time to lose. Let's go." Good. Let's kill them, Yin Hongmei said with a murderous aura. She had been waiting for this moment for many years. The barrier above the icy holy spirits was something she wanted to break even in her dreams. Good. Everyone fight with me, Night Sorrow shouted. The icy holy spirits have been quiet for many years. They have not made any moves. They must have expected us to attack. So, once you attack, don't hold back. You must attack them with an attack that they cannot handle. Boss Night Devil, for freedom, we will do our best to kill them. The Barbarian King looked into the distance and promised. Actually, they were more eager to leave than Night Sorrow. They did not need to mobilize at all. Their fighting spirit would completely erupt. Good, let's kill them, Night Sorrow said. Then, he controlled the celestial bodies and used the portal to teleport to the icy Holy Spirit side. After Night Sorrow teleported over, the others also teleported over. The appearance of the 9 celestial bodies in the sky immediately attracted the attention of the icy Holy Spirits. We've been discovered. Attack! Realizing that the Holy Frost Spirit had noticed him, Night Sorrow immediately ordered. Then, together with the others, he controlled the 9 celestial bodies to attack the ice river where the Holy Frost Spirit resided. They followed Night Sorrow's instructions and distanced themselves from the 9 celestial bodies. In another direction, they were flying in the direction of the ice river. Enemy attack. Warning, watch out for the collision of the stars. It's here. Those cultivators had appeared. Prepare for battle. At this moment, The Holy Frost Spirit clan had completely discovered the scheme of Night Sorrow and the others. They had already begun to organize an attack against the 9 celestial bodies. Under the leadership of a 4th-stage, half-step Supreme Realm expert, the Flying Departure Star River began to attack the 9 celestial bodies. Their attacks were all of the ice attribute, and the origin of the 9 celestial bodies were all scorching flames. Therefore, the first round of attacks did not have any effect. At this moment, the half-step Supreme Realm expert said, "These 9 celestial bodies are the ones in the scorching Pure Land. Everyone, use your trump cards. Otherwise, if they hit us, our home will be destroyed." "Yes, Lord Holy King." The other Holy Frost spirits immediately responded. Then, they cooperated with the Holy King to summon the origin of the Star River and let it help them freeze the 9 celestial bodies. They want to freeze the 9 celestial bodies above the void. Our chance is here. Everyone, enter my space, Grotto Heaven. I'll bring you in. The Holy Frost spirits, including the Holy King, were all attracted by the 9 celestial bodies. Night Sorrow immediately put on his clothes and gave them to everyone. Then he put everyone into his space, Grotto Heaven, and went behind the Holy Frost spirits to sneak above the ice river. When they arrived at the celestial bodies above the ice river, the Barbarian King suddenly said, "Boss Knight Demon, what do you think about us attacking the barrier directly? If the barrier could be broken so easily, the Holy Frost spirits would have broken it long ago. We shouldn't be able to do anything in a short time." Night Sorrow looked up at the barrier above. If they attacked now, they would definitely be able to attack it, but he felt that they would not be able to break it in a short time. So he ordered, "Let's move the celestial bodies. These celestial bodies in front of us should not be controlled by the origin." Okay. The Barbarian King immediately agreed when he heard Night Sorrow's words. Then, the others and Night Sorrow flew toward the celestial bodies. When they sneaked in, they naturally encountered the Holy Frost spirits guarding the celestial bodies. However, these Holy Frost spirits were all ordinary heavenly supremes. They could not stop the few of them at all. Soon, Night Sorrow and the others each controlled a celestial body and used them to smash down on the ice river below. This naturally attracted the Holy Frost spirits' attention. Bastards! These shameless cultivators! The Holy King, who was leading his men to stop the 9 celestial bodies, cursed angrily when he saw the celestial bodies crashing down from above. But at this moment, he and the other experts around him could not do anything at all. If they wanted to stop the 9 celestial bodies, they would not be able to stop the 5 celestial bodies from crashing into them. After thinking for a while, he ordered, "Stop the 9 celestial bodies from crashing into them. After that, kill the cultivators who are causing trouble. As for the weaker ones, you can hide in the ice river." Although the 5 celestial bodies can cause an impact to the galaxy, they are not a great threat. After saying that, he led the other experts to attack the 9 celestial bodies with all their might. In the end, they stopped the 9 celestial bodies. At this moment, the 5 celestial bodies controlled by Night Sorrow and the others smashed into the ice river one after another. They created loud bangs one after another. After being hit by the 5 celestial bodies, the ice river immediately cracked with Tao patterns. It looked like it was about to shatter. Many Holy Frost spirits were smashed to death by this impact. However, the Holy Frost spirit tribe was not severely injured as Night Sorrow and the others had predicted. At this moment, the Holy King, who had stopped the 9 celestial bodies, ordered, "Follow me and kill all the invaders." "Yes, Holy King. Lord Holy King." Some of the holy ice spirits behind him immediately responded. "What about Lord Night Demon?" A few celestial bodies fell, but they did not injure the half-step Supreme Realm Holy Frost spirits at all. Should we fight or retreat? Seeing the situation before him, the Barbarian King asked in shock. "It won't be easy to escape now. I'll deal with the Holy King of Frost. You guys think of a way to hold him back. Remember my words. If you can't hold on, enter my space immediately." Night Sorrow said, and sent a voice transmission to Little Five. Control the Eternal Divine Tower and attack the Ice River. For attacks, all at the Ice River? Little Five asked immediately. Night Sorrow confirmed, yes, all at the Ice River. Chapter 3366. Okay. Little Five replied to Night Sorrow and controlled the Eternal Divine Tower to attack Bing he continuously. At the same time, Night Sorrow transmitted his voice to everyone before the Frost Holy Spirit reached them. Don't hesitate. Attack Bing he. Injure Bing he severely first. Okay, got it. The Frost Holy Spirit had already pounced on Gulai, but it was still a distance away. The Barbarian King responded and attacked Bing he. The others were also fighting against time to attack. At this time, those who stayed near Bing he were basically the weakest among the Frost Holy Spirits. They could not withstand Night Sorrow's and the Eternal Divine Tower's attacks at all. Before the Frost Holy King arrived, countless of them were killed. Terrifying cracks appeared on Bing he's body. Cultivators of Lu Tian Academy, all of you deserve to die. Seeing the huge hole in Bing he, the Frost Holy King roared and ordered, kill all these cultivators. Use their flesh and blood to pay tribute to Bing he. Yes, Holy King. The other Frost Holy Spirits roared one after another. They looked like they were going to kill Night Sorrow and the others instantly. Boom! At this moment, the Eternal Divine Tower attacked for the fourth time under Little Five's control. This attack was also aimed at Bing he. This king is already here. How can I let you succeed again? Seeing the Eternal Divine Tower attacking Bing he again, the Frost Holy King immediately attacked with an ice attack to block it. At this moment, Night Sorrow said, "Everyone be careful." With the golden heavenly halberd and desolation war halberd in hand, he charged toward the Frost Holy King. The others were encouraged by Night Sorrow's bravery. They fought with the other cultivators of the Frost Holy Spirits. For a battle of this level, those below half-step to Supreme Realm were basically useless. When the battle started, although the Frost Holy Spirits had many heavenly sovereigns, they were of no help at all. The Frost Holy Spirits were completely relying on the dozen or so half-step Supreme Realm experts to fight against Yin Hongmei, Green Leopard, and the others. In terms of numbers, the Holy Frost Spirits who were half a step into the Supreme Stage would definitely have the advantage. However, Yin Hongmei, Black Panther, and the others clearly had more tricks up their sleeves than them. Furthermore, although the stars were shattered, their origins were still there. With the help of the astral source, although they were slightly passive, they had basically stabilized the situation. Of course, this was also due to the fact that they had severely injured Glacier, which prevented the holy glacial spirits from absorbing the energy without restraint. Therefore, their combat prowess was reduced to a certain extent. I didn't expect a middle heavenly sovereign like you to be so capable. While the others were barely defending against the Holy Frost Spirit's attacks, Night Sorrow and the Holy Monarch had already fought for a while. After the probing attack, Frost Holy King immediately stopped looking down on Night Sorrow. If your evaluation of me is only that I have some ability, then it proves that your judgment is not very good. Facing the half-step Paramount Realm 4th Stage, Holy Monarch Frost, Night Sorrow only had to say a few words before he completely activated the Treastrimsa, Heaven's Mystic Arts and Destructive Mystic Arts, as well as the Azure Phoenix Battle Armor. 66 words appeared in the air. Of these 66 words, 33 were used to weaken Frost Holy Monarch, while the other 33 were used to strengthen himself. Under such circumstances, the difference in strength between the two sides was pulled closer by a lot. Extreme Flame Mother Spears. Divine Essence Trap Array. After adjusting himself to his strongest state, Night Sorrow consecutively used 2 secret techniques. This was one of his more powerful attack combinations now. However, he had yet to use the Wuji Void Cauldron and Bloodline power. He used his trump card right from the start. This was because he knew that a half-step Paramount Realm 4th-stage opponent was still very difficult to deal with. Child's play. Do you think I can't handle it? Frost defense. Facing Knight Sorrow's attack, Frost Holy Monarch, who was trapped by the Divine Essence Trap Array, did not show any signs of panic. He also did not attack the Divine Essence Trap Array. Instead, he formed hand seals within the array and activated his own Frost defense. Boom! When Knight Sorrow's extreme Flame Mother Spears landed on Frost Holy Monarch's body, it was immediately blocked by his super strong defense. His Frost defense secret technique was just too strong. Knight Sorrow's attack could not break through it. At this moment, Little Five said telepathically, "Knight Sorrow, I'm afraid you still need to use the power of flames to defeat him. I'm afraid you won't be able to defeat him with just strength." I can see that too. I can only rely on my astral body source and bloodline power. At this moment, Knight Sorrow looked at the others who were fighting and realized that it was already not easy for Yin Hongmei and the rest to hold their own against the other Frost Holy Spirits. They might not be able to hold on for long. Therefore, he did not hesitate at all. He completely ignited his Phoenix bloodline, Scale bloodline, and Leaken bloodline. He raised his physical strength to the peak. Then he took out the Wuji Void Cauldron and suppressed the surrounding void. Trying to trap this king? You must be dreaming. After Knight Sorrow used the Wuji Void Cauldron to suppress the void, Frost Holy Monarch immediately roared in disdain. Then, he used the Era of Frost. This move was almost exactly the same as the one Knight Sorrow used to defeat the Frost Holy Spirit, but the effect was obviously much better. The surrounding void seemed to be frozen in an instant. Faced with such a situation, Knight Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message to the astral body source. Just like last time, think of a way to break the Era of Frost. Master, I'm afraid I can't do it. The astral body source said hesitantly after receiving the telepathic message. He felt a little helpless against Frost Holy Monarch's Era of Frost. It's okay. Just do the same thing as last time. At this moment, Knight Sorrow sent a telepathic message and summoned the disguised virtuous fire to burn the surroundings. After the virtuous fire appeared, Frost Holy Monarch's Era of Frost was instantly weakened by a lot. Under such circumstances, the astral body source said excitedly, "Master, this Era of Frost is no longer a threat." As he spoke, he used the power of fire to break the Era of Frost in front of him. HM, what kind of power is this? How can it be so strange? Frost Holy Monarch stared at the virtuous fire that suddenly appeared in the void and said in surprise, "This is a fire that will take your life." After the Era of Frost was broken, the Wuji Void Cauldron began to suppress the void again. Knight Sorrow roared and used the Defiant 9 Steps and Ocean Roaming Dragon. He used his speed to get close to Frost Holy Monarch and used the Fire Attribute Void Broken Palm to attack him. This move was taught to him by Yin Hongshi, and it was very powerful on its own. Coupled with Knight Sorrow's own bloodline flames, the power was very terrifying after it was used. Even Frost Holy Monarch couldn't help but feel a little guilty in the face of this attack and wanted to use his movement technique to dodge. At this moment, Knight Sorrow suddenly used the Virtuous Trap formation on him and trapped him inside. He slammed his palm forward viciously. Chapter 3367. Oh no, this king can't break this formation. Realizing that he couldn't break Knight Sorrow's formation, Frost Holy King panicked. After thinking for a moment, he roared, "Holy King Invincible Shield." In an instant, a layer of ice defense appeared around him. This layer of defense didn't look too conspicuous. However, Knight Sorrow's attack was instantly neutralized after hitting it. As for this layer of ice defense, after it was struck, it disappeared along with the attack. It was equivalent to using this move to dissipate Knight Sorrow's attack. At the same time, the Virtuous Trap formation was also broken. Frost Holy King, who had broken the Virtuous Trap formation, wasn't as happy as expected. This was because he could only use an ultimate technique like the Holy King Invincible Shield once every 30,000 years. Although he had used it to save a life, it also made him realize the true difficulty of this battle. After thinking for a moment, Frost Holy King's brows suddenly emitted a ferocious, cold light. He roared into the sky, "All of you, help this king summon the Frost Crown." As soon as he finished speaking, the holy frost spirits all turned into rays of light and entered the Holy King of Frost body. Even the half-step Supreme Realm Holy Spirits fighting Yin Hongmei and the others were no exception. Almost instantly, only Frost Holy King and Night Sorrow's group were left on the ice river. Meanwhile, Night Sorrow's side didn't lose a single person. There were still 5 of them. What's going on? Seeing that Frost Holy King had absorbed all the Frost Holy Spirits, the Barbarian King was shocked. Green Leopard said in annoyance, "Is there a need to explain? Frost Holy King's strength will definitely increase by a lot after absorbing all the Frost Holy Spirit's energy. We're in big trouble." Yes, after absorbing so many Frost Holy Spirit's energy, even if Frost Holy King can't advance to half-step Supreme Realm rank 5, he'll reach the peak of rank 4. It'll be very difficult for us to fight against him. Night Sorrow made his judgment with a frown. Right now, Frost Holy King had absorbed all the Frost Holy Spirit's energy and hadn't attacked yet. However, just the aura alone made him feel very uncomfortable. "We really have to be careful," Yin Hongmei said cautiously as she carefully sensed Frost Holy King's aura. It wasn't that they didn't want to interrupt Frost Holy Monarch. However, the speed at which Frost Holy King absorbed the energy was simply too fast. Before they could interrupt him, he had already succeeded. The Sacred Ice Spirits didn't seem to have any intention of resisting him at all. In an instant, he had already taken form. "You forced me to this point. Today, all of you will be turned into materials for the Ice River." After stabilizing his aura, Frost Saint King's eyes glowed with rage. Then, a crown of ice suddenly rose from the river of ice. The Frost Crown's aura was even more terrifying than the Frost Holy King. Not good. He could not allow him to obtain the Icy Crown. If he combined it with the Icy Crown, it was very likely that he would advance to the 5th stage of the half-step Paramount Realm. If that happens, we won't be able to resist at all. Night Sorrow, who was observing with the Sea Serpent's eye, said as he cast a merit trapping array at the Ice Crown. "This kind of attack of yours is no longer of any use. If you continue to use it, it will be a complete waste of energy." Facing the merit trapping array, Frost Holy King attacked with a look of disdain. He forcefully shattered the merit trapping array that Night Sorrow had cast. Then he summoned the Icy Crown into his hand and slowly put on his head. After Frost Holy King put on the Icy Crown, his aura was just as Night Sorrow had said. He had advanced to the 5th stage of the half-step Paramount Realm. Not good. With our strength, we won't be able to resist the attack of the 5th stage of the half-step Paramount Realm. Everyone run. Activate the transportation portal and leave. After Frost Holy King's strength increased, Night Sorrow instantly realized that things were not going well. As he increased everyone's strength, he had already revealed his identity. Hearing this, the others did not hesitate at all. They all used their movement techniques and prepared to flee to the transportation portal and use it to escape. They knew that Frost Holy King was an existence that they could not fight against. Trying to escape? Do you think you can escape from this mass burial star zone? Seeing that everyone was trying to escape, Frost Holy King's expression turned cold. Frost Holy King's brows revealed a trace of coldness. Then, he shot an ice spear at the slowest Wanrun. Logically speaking, Wanrun was a 3rd-stage half-step Paramount Realm expert. Although he was not a super genius, he still had a certain amount of battle strength. However, Frost Holy King's ice spear actually pierced through Wanrun's body. When Night Sorrow turned around to look, he realized that Wanrun had already been killed. It could be seen just how powerful Frost Holy King was right now. No, if we continue to be chased by him like this, everyone will be killed one by one. Seeing Wan Ren being killed, Knight Soro's mind flashed with countless possibilities. But thinking about it carefully, he realized that most of them would not work. Because Frost Holy King had put on the icy crown, his strength had increased by too much. He was not someone that anyone below the 5th stage could fight against. If we can't escape, what should we do? At this moment, Barbarian King, who was at the back, asked. He was very worried that he would be killed in the next moment. All of you, enter my space grotto heaven. After Barbarian King asked, Knight Sorrow sent a telepathic message to everyone. Although he was not a match for Frost Holy King, he would not be killed instantly. Hearing this, everyone helplessly entered his space grotto heaven. Do you think it's useful to keep them in the space? The next one to die will be you. Seeing that Knight Sorrow had kept everyone in his space grotto heaven, Frost Holy King, who had caught up, had a look of disdain. At this moment, the astral source that Knight Sorrow controlled suddenly sent a telepathic message. Master, I have a way to deal with Frost Holy King. Oh, what do you have? Hurry up and tell me. Knight Sorrow heard the astral source's words and was instantly interested. At this moment, although he could dodge some shelter from the cold attacks, he would definitely not be able to hold on for long. The astral source's words were like a life-saving straw to him. Then, the astral source sent a telepathic message. Master, as long as our 9 sources merge together, we will be able to destroy the icy crown. That seems to be our mission. Is that so? That's great. That's easy. Hearing the astral source's words, Knight Sorrow immediately sent a telepathic message to everyone and explained the situation. Yin Hongmei immediately asked excitedly, Really? Other than the 2 astral sources controlled by Wan Ren, the rest are all with us. It will be easy to merge them together. As she spoke, she did not hesitate and ordered her astral source to merge with Knight Sorrow. Barbarian King and Green Leopard did the same. Very quickly, Knight Sorrow, who had dodged Frost Holy King's attack, merged with the 7 astral sources. Only the 2 astral sources on Wan Ren's body were left to merge. Knight Sorrow immediately turned back and flew towards the place where Wan Ren had fallen. www. Chapter 3368. Although Wan Ren had already fallen, the 2 celestial body origins that he controlled had not left his body. Instead, they stayed where they were, looking confused. Are you after the 2 fire origins in his body? This king will not let you have your way. Seeing Knight Sorrow flying towards Wan Ren's body, the Crown King of Frost revealed a cruel smile. Then, he unleashed an ultimate technique at Yishang's location. Frost Storm Slash. Instantly, countless ice spears flew towards Knight Sorrow's position. Moreover, the surrounding space was completely sealed. Although Knight Sorrow's movement techniques were pretty good, and he had learned them from Yin Hengshi and Yin Hengshi respectively, there was no way he could dodge the countless ice spears. Knowing that he could not dodge with his movement techniques, Knight Sorrow immediately controlled his golden heavenly halberd and desolation war halberd to attack the ice spears in the sky. He used the flames in the sky to fight against King of Frost's ice spears. This move was quite effective at the beginning, but it only lasted for a while before it lost its momentum and was suppressed by the ice spears. In the blink of an eye, over 100 ice spears smashed into Yi Chang's body. His body was blasted away. He slid a long distance in the void. Ant, you are just an ant. Die. Ice Age. Seeing that Knight Sorrow was sent flying by the ice spears and was still enduring the attacks, King of Frost's eyes shot out 2 even more terrifying ice arrows. These 2 ice arrows carried an endless chill, as if they could freeze heaven and earth. It gave people the feeling that it could bring time and space back to the Ice Age. In Yishang's opinion, this Ice Age was much stronger than the Ice Age. The 2 couldn't even be mentioned in the same breath. However, he did not panic. Instead, he took out the Silver Dragon Void Shield that Vice Dean Ji Xian had given him to defend himself. He also used his blood to completely activate the Green Phoenix battle armor. At the same time, he used the 3,300 words mantra. Finally, he summoned the Dragon of Virtue to block this attack with all his might. Night Sorrow could tell how powerful this move was. Seeing that Night Sorrow had used all his moves to block Ice Age, King of Frost laughed disdainfully. "You, an ant, can't block this attack no matter what. Prepare to die." As soon as he finished speaking, he pointed at the Ice River and said, "Release the power of the Ice River." As the Frost Sacred Monarch summoned an even more frightening power from the Ice River, the two ice arrows, including the Ice Age, became even more frightening. The two ice arrows landed on the Silver Dragon Void Shield at the same time. Although the Silver Dragon Void Shield was at the 3rd grade of the Half-Step Supreme Realm and was supported by Night Sorrow's Force of Virtue, it was still shattered into pieces. After the two ice arrows broke through the Silver Dragon Void Shield's defense, they shattered Night Sorrow's Blue Phoenix armor. Yishang's body was almost completely obliterated by this attack. However, Night Sorrow laughed, even though he was heavily injured. "What are you laughing at? Are you going to meet your death in a crazed state?" Frost's Sacred King asked disdainfully when he saw Yishang slowly stand up from the void with a smile on his face. The way he saw it, Yisaro was so severely injured that he didn't even need to continue attacking. Yisaro definitely wouldn't be able to survive. At this moment, Night Sorrow looked behind King of Frost and said, "Look behind you, and you'll understand why I'm laughing." King of Frost didn't turn around when he heard this. Instead, he used his divine spirit to check. Immediately, he discovered that an extremely scorching flame had appeared behind him. As it turned out, when Night Sorrow was receiving Ice Age's attack, he had secretly used the Eternal Divine Tower to secretly approach one Ren's body with the power of the 7 celestial origins, allowing the 9 celestial origins to combine into one. Under King of Frost's carelessness, the Eternal Divine Tower successfully combined the 9 celestial origins. They formed a brand new fire origin. After the fire origin appeared, it directly turned into a fire arrow and shot towards King of Frost. This fire arrow's strength was similar to the 2 ice arrows that King of Frost had shot out earlier. It also contained similar Taoist rhymes. This made King of Frost frown instantly. He thought for a moment and shot out the 2 ice arrows from Ice Age again. "It's useless. The ice crown will break." Facing King of Frost's attack, the fire origin seemed to make a judgment. Then, the ice crown on King of Frost's head was directly shattered. In an instant, the ice river below them also started to melt. As the ice river started to melt, King of Frost instantly felt his strength weakening. Soon, he dropped from Half-Step Supreme Realm 5th grade to Half-Step Supreme Realm 4th grade. Then, he dropped again to Half-Step Supreme Realm 3rd grade. At this moment, Night Sorrow summoned Yin Hongmei and the rest. "Here's our chance to kill King of Frost. Don't worry, leave the rest to us." Yin Hongmei and the rest, who knew that Night Sorrow was seriously injured, realized that their chance had come and all attacked King of Frost fiercely. Although King of Frost tried his best to resist, as the ice river melted, his strength dropped too much. Before long, he was killed by everyone and finally turned into a drop of water. The drop of water that King of Frost turned into his good stuff. It contains his life essence. Boss Night Demon, use it to absorb and recover your body. The one who obtained the drop of water was Green Leopard. He did not hesitate to give it to Night Sorrow. No one objected to this. After thinking for a moment, Night Sorrow took the drop of water and said, "Thank you, everyone. I won't stand on ceremony then." He knew that although he could rely on the Leakin's power to slowly recover his body, but to completely recover, it would take a lot of time, and the time left for them to break the barrier in the sky was only a few decades. They did not allow any delay. Thus, he did not stand on ceremony and accepted the drop of water. At this moment, Night Sorrow looked into the void and discovered that the fire origin that shattered the frost crown had already become a small flame like a candle flame due to excessive consumption. He immediately flew over and stored it in the Eternal Divine Tower to recuperate. He also thanked him. However, the fire origin that had turned into a small flame did not respond at all. Clearly, it had consumed too much energy. After everything was settled, Yin Hongmei looked at Night Sorrow and said, "Brother Night Demon, recover your body first. Let's try to attack the barrier in the sky and see if we can succeed." "All right, you guys go ahead and try. My injuries are a little serious this time. I need some time to recover." After saying that, Night Sorrow set up a formation in the void. Then, he absorbed the remaining energy of King of Frost. As for King of Frost, because he had not completely died, he did not convert it into power of merit. While Night Sorrow was recovering, Yin Hongmei, Green Leopard, and the Brute King began to attack the barrier in the sky. www. Chapter 33:69. After launching a series of attacks on the barrier in the sky, Yin Hongmei and the rest quickly realized that their abilities were insufficient. This was because their attacks did not cause any damage to the barrier. The attacks that hit it were like water droplets that merged into the sea, unable to cause any waves. After continuously trying for an hour, Yin Hongmei sighed and said, "Let's wait for Brother Night Demon. It looks like it's very difficult for the three of us to cause any damage to the barrier. Yes, we can only place our hopes on Boss Night Demon. If he can't do it, we might die in a few decades. After all, the fire origin is completely useless. Without protection, we can't withstand the mass burial glacial ice." As Barbarian King spoke, he looked at where Night Sorrow was in seclusion. However, he could not see Night Sorrow's situation at all. After Barbarian King finished speaking, Green Leopard frowned and said, "I don't know what we can do to help. We can't rely on Boss Night Demon for everything, right? Wouldn't we be useless then?" "What you said makes sense, but in this situation, what can we do?" Barbarian King said helplessly. In his opinion, the three of them could only place their hopes on Night Sorrow. At this moment, Green Leopard said in a deep voice, "Although we don't have the ability to break the barrier, we can find resources for him in the melting glacial river or the mass burial starfield. This is better than standing there foolishly." "All right." Hearing this, Yin Hongmei responded and looked at the almost melted glacial river beneath her feet. "We'll sneak into the glacial river and find resources for Brother Night Demon. If we can't find anything, we'll go to other places in the mass burial starfield to find resources. We can't just wait for him to do everything." "All right, it's decided then. I'll take the lead, you guys follow," Green Leopard said and jumped into the glacial river first. In his opinion, the glacial Holy Spirit should be born from this glacial river. There might be some treasures in the glacial river. After Green Leopard jumped in, Barbarian King followed behind, while Yin Hongmei was in charge of bringing up the rear. They did not hesitate and all jumped in. However, the moment they entered, the three of them suffered a little because although the glacial river had melted, the temperature was still very low. Although they were all experts half a step into the limitless realm, they couldn't take it at all. That bone-piercing coldness made their hearts palpitate. Not long after, the three of them came up one after another. If they didn't come up, they would probably be frozen in the river. After looking at each other, the Barbarian King asked doubtfully, "What do you think is in this ice river? Why is it so cold? Even us half-step Lemeters can't take it. In my opinion, there should be something extraordinary down there." The Ice River Holy Spirit and the Ice Holy Spirit must have been born from it. Yin Hongmei speculated, "It's very likely to be some amazing material. If it's like what you said, there are materials down there. It was definitely a Lemeter-level material. After all, many of the Holy Frost spirits it had nurtured were at the half-step supreme stage. Those who aren't at the Lemeter realm definitely won't be able to produce it." Green Leopard said excitedly, "What's the point of being agitated? Even if there is one down there, we can't take it out. We might need Brother Night Demon to investigate this matter." Yin Hongmei said helplessly. She was very confident in her judgment, but she also knew that even if there were Lemeter materials below, they wouldn't be able to retrieve them. They could only look at where Night Sorrow was. At this moment, Night Sorrow was still recovering in the array formation. The three of them had no choice but to search for resources in the mass burial star zone. However, after searching for 30 years, they didn't find anything. They returned to where the ice river was. At this moment, the three of them started to panic when they saw that Night Sorrow hadn't come out of seclusion. After all, there were only about 60 years left for them. Night Sorrow might cultivate until then. At this moment, the barbarian king said, "If Lord Night Demon doesn't come out in another 30 or 40 years, how about we wake him up? Let's wait another 40 years. If he still doesn't come out, we can only wake him up. After all, time waits for no man." Yin Hongmei looked at where Night Sorrow was and said, in fact, Night Sorrow had already been recovering and cultivating in the Eternal Divine Tower for about 300 years. After 300 years of recovery, his body had completely recovered. At this moment, he was absorbing the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. On the surface, the water droplet was only the size of a fingernail. However, the energy and Taoist rhymes it contained were not weak at all. Night Sorrow had been absorbing it for 300 years and still hadn't completely taken it down. 300 years in the Eternal Divine Tower is 30 years in the real world. There are still 60 years before the next mass burial star. I'm afraid I only have 50 years at most. In other words, 500 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. 500 years should be enough. After absorbing for 300 years, Night Sorrow came back to his senses for a moment. He observed the fire origin and realized that although it had grown, it was still a weak flame with an ordinary appearance. After that, he entered the Eternal Divine Tower again to absorb the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. After Night Sorrow fully immersed himself in it, time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, 500 years had passed. In total, he had spent more than 800 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. Night Sorrow finally completely absorbed the water droplet that the Ice Holy King had turned into. After completely absorbing the water droplet, Night Sorrow felt that his control of the ice attribute had improved greatly. This gain was not inferior to obtaining the Jiao-Lin bloodline at all. Phew, it's time to go out and try to break the barrier in the sky. After spending a year to practice his gains, Night Sorrow left the Eternal Divine Tower completely. Seeing Night Sorrow appear, Barbarian King immediately shouted, "Boss Night Demon, you've finally appeared. We have a major discovery." "Oh, what did you discover?" Night Sorrow asked curiously. He had spent a total of 800 years in the Eternal Divine Tower. During this period, he had not paid attention to the outside world. "Boss Night Demon, we discovered that there might be a supreme grade material in this fused ice river." Green Leopard rushed to reply. "Oh, are you sure?" Night Sorrow looked at the three of them and confirmed. Regardless of who it was, supreme-level materials were no small matter. If he could find it here, he naturally wouldn't want to miss it. According to our analysis, it should exist. After Night Sorrow asked, Yin Hongmei told him about their speculation. After explaining, she continued, "But now, we only have slightly more than 10 years left. Time is too tight. How about this? I'll bring you guys and spend a year and a half to explore below." Hearing this, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said. He felt that their analysis made sense. Chapter 3370. If a supreme grade material really existed, then it would be a great opportunity for him. Whether it was Night Sorrow or the others, they couldn't miss it. Although there was still more than 10 years before the mass burial frost arrived, they still had to take the risk. Moreover, after absorbing the Frost Sage King's energy, he seemed to be less afraid of the cold. After deciding to explore the ice river, Night Sorrow looked at the three of them and said, "Everyone, enter my space grotto heaven. I'll bring you down. If we can really obtain an extreme grade material, I won't take it all for myself. Lord Night Demon, you're too polite. There's no need to do this. If we don't have the ability to obtain the opportunity, then we're not fated." Hearing this, Although the barbarian king was very touched, he still declined. Qing Bao and Yin Hongmei were the same. Although they were tempted, they felt that if they didn't have the ability to obtain it, then the opportunity hadn't arrived. Seeing the three of them like this, Knight Sorrow continued. We're all friends. There's no need to be so polite. If you're fated with me, then you're fated with the opportunity. Also, we might not be able to come up in 10 years. Oh, what do you mean? If we don't come up in 10 years, won't we welcome the mass burial frost? Hearing this, Yin Hongmei immediately asked in confusion. If there really is an extreme grade material with the ice attribute, and we successfully obtain it, then I'm confident that we can withstand the impact of the mass burial frost. It's just that we used fire in the past. This time we might need to use ice. Knight Sorrow said. He felt that if he could stay in the cold ice river for a long time, he could use the power of ice in the ice river to avoid the impact of the mass burial frost. This was the confidence he had obtained from absorbing the Frost Sage King's energy. The current him felt that the ice river in front of him had become very intimate and was no longer as cold as before. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, the barbarian king, Qing Bao, and the others were puzzled and chose to enter his space grotto heaven. Now, they still trusted Knight Sorrow completely. After the three of them entered, Knight Sorrow said, After I absorbed the Frost Sage King's energy, my ability to resist the cold has increased a lot. Although it can't compare to the Frost Sage King, it should not be inferior to ordinary Frost Sage spirits. After explaining, he dived into the ice river. As soon as he entered the ice river, Knight Sorrow felt a bone-piercing chill. But very quickly, he unleashed the power of the Frost Saint King to resist the cold. Immediately, a large portion of the ice was dissolved, and the remaining bit was forcefully withstood with his body. Then, under the gazes of the three people, he began to dive down bit by bit. The size of this ice river exceeded everyone's expectations. Although Yishan had sensed the aura of a supreme grade material after diving in, he still felt that there was a considerable distance between him and a supreme grade material after diving for 3 whole years. If I'm not wrong, we might have to stay in the ice river for a long time. It could be 100 years, or even 1,000 years. As long as we can withstand the mass burial frost, it doesn't matter how long we stay. However, would the ice river be sealed by the mass burial frost? After all, it was previously in a frozen state. It was only because we broke it open that it melted. After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, Yin Hongmei transmitted her voice to him. In her opinion, the only obstacle was the mass burial frost that was about to arrive. If the ice river would be completely frozen when it arrived, then Knight Sorrow would very likely be sealed in the ice river. None of them would have an easy time. According to my judgment, when the mass burial frost arrives, a portion of the ice river above will be frozen. However, the ice river will probably not be moved. Our safety should not be a problem for a short period of time. However, if we want to leave in the future, we will have to break through the thick layer of ice. As the infiltration continued, Knight Sorrow voiced his judgment. In this ice river, other than the aura of a supreme grade material, he could not sense any other life forms. He felt a little lonely. It was in the state of loneliness that Yi Shang went into hiding for another decade or so. He also encountered the mass burial frost. Just as he had predicted, although the mass burial frost was terrifying, it only froze the ice river for 100,000 feet. The position he was in was not affected by any life forms, and the temperature of the ice river did not change much. He, who had absorbed the Ice Sage King's energy, could completely withstand it. After the mass burial frost passed, Knight Sorrow transmitted his voice. The mass burial frost has passed. We can continue exploring. Since the mass burial frost is not a threat, then we have plenty of time, Yin Hongmei said excitedly. To her, this was a completely unexpected surprise. The Brute Emperor and Green Leopard were also in a similar mood. There was no time limit, and this was definitely a good thing for them. Then, Knight Sorrow continued diving. This time, he dived for more than 300 years. On this day, after 300 years, Knight Sorrow finally reached the bottom of the ice river. We've finally reached the bottom. However, this is not the location of the supreme grade material. We still have to continue searching. After stepping onto the ice, Night Sorrow said a few words to the others and began to search for Lamita materials. Following the aura, Night Sorrow walked at the bottom of the ice river for 70 to 80 years. Finally, he found the supreme grade material in a valley at the bottom of the ice river. However, just as he found it, Night Sorrow, Yin Hongmei, and the rest were all shocked. That was because the supreme grade material at the bottom of the ice river suddenly came to life after they appeared and turned into a gigantic ice dragon. And this ice dragon's aura was infinitely close to the supreme grade. Then, the ice dragon released a huge oppressive force. You're the one who killed the Ice Sage King. The ice dragon's aura was released, and it immediately gave Night Sorrow a huge impact. He was almost frozen on the spot. After a while, he admitted, "I'm the one who killed him." Night Sorrow knew that the ice dragon in front of him should be a peak half-step supreme grade 5. It was only a thin layer away from advancing to the supreme grade. Such an existence was no longer something that ordinary half-step supreme grade could fight against. However, he was already prepared to fight and was unwilling to give up resisting. "Since you're the one who killed the Ice Sage King, then you've obtained an opportunity of mine. Tell me, what do you want?" The ice dragon suddenly said word by word. Hearing that, not only Night Sorrow, but Yin Hongmei and the rest were also surprised. They did not expect things to turn out this way at all. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow asked, "Senior, what does the opportunity you're talking about include?" "The opportunity I'm talking about includes a piece of extreme frost mystic ice. This piece of extreme frost mystic ice can be used to refine a small supreme grade divine weapon. It also includes helping you guys. However, I'll only help once." The ice dragon looked at Night Sorrow and said. Being stared at by the ice dragon, Night Sorrow felt as though he had turned into prey. However, he was excited and said hurriedly, "I don't want the resource." Chapter 3371. "Oh, you can give up the Supreme State resources?" Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Ice Dragon immediately asked in return, "Compared to freedom, I'm afraid no resources are important. I choose to let you help us open the barrier. Let us return to the endless star field from the mass burial star field." Night Sorrow said without hesitation. Martial Inyang manga. For him, he could find Supreme State resources again, but this might be the only chance to leave the mass burial star field. Therefore, after Ice Dragon spoke, he made such a choice. You know how to choose. If you don't choose this, it will take at least 3 eras for you to leave with your own strength. Ice Dragon immediately said after Night Sorrow made his choice. After he finished speaking, Yin Hongmei and the others realized that Night Sorrow's choice was very correct. Originally, they thought it was a pity not to choose the Supreme State material, extreme cold mysterious ice. Night Sorrow looked at Ice Dragon and said gratefully, "Thank you, Senior. We won't tell anyone that you are here. It doesn't make a difference whether we tell anyone or not. The people who should know will still know that I'm here." Ice Dragon sighed. Night Sorrow glanced at Ice Dragon and asked doubtfully, "Senior, are you troubled? Being used as a divine weapon material by Supremacy Annihilation, don't you think I should be troubled?" Ice Dragon said helplessly, then continued, "All right, that's enough. I'll send you out." He was a divine weapon material that Supremacy Annihilation thought highly of. Putting him in a mass burial star field was equivalent to raising a pet. After he came out of seclusion, he would start refining it and make it into his own Supreme State divine weapon. Now that the 3 Supreme Supremacies have not awakened, why don't you leave since you have the ability to break out of the mass burial star field? Night Sorrow immediately asked doubtfully after Ice Dragon finished speaking. "Do you think that Supremacy Annihilation will not leave a restriction in an area that I have the ability to break out of?" Ice Dragon shook his head and said, "Besides, even if I can escape, where can I escape to? The world in front of us, and even the other realms, will become the property of the three supreme supremacies. Me or you, who can escape from their evil clutches. His words were incomparably pessimistic. But after Night Sorrow heard it, he could empathize with her. After thinking for a while, he said, "Senior, as long as people are alive, there is hope. If you can successfully advance to the Lameter realm, perhaps everything will be different." He didn't directly mention the three supreme venerables, nor did he mention Yin and Yin Hengshi, because this was the first time he had met Ice Dragon, and he couldn't completely trust him. "I hope so. I'll send you off," Ice Dragon said, and returned to the Ice River with Night Sorrow and the others. Attacking the barrier, a vortex-shaped portal was blasted open in an instant. He then looked at Night Sorrow and said, "This is what I can do for you. What you need to do for me is to protect my home. My home is in the extreme cold of the fog region. If you promise me that you will do it, I will let you go. Senior, don't worry. I'll do as you say. We will do our best to protect your home." When Night Sorrow heard this, he understood what Ice Dragon meant and naturally chose to agree. At this time, Ice Dragon continued, "You don't have to protect my home, just help protect my people. I can see that your talent is very outstanding. As long as you're not targeted by the three supreme venerables, you will definitely be able to do this. I'm not sure if I'll be targeted by the three supreme venerables, but Senior has helped me, so I will do my best to complete your request." After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he led Yin Hongmei and the others to bid farewell to Ice Dragon and flew toward the vortex-shaped teleportation array. After leaving the vortex-shaped teleportation array, Night Sorrow, Yin Hongmei, and the others did not appear in the endless star field. Instead, they appeared halfway up the Mountain of Flames. Night Sorrow could easily resist flames of this level. Looking at the top of the mountain, he thought to himself, "When my fog-breathing technique reaches the 10th level, I will choose to climb to the top and completely complete the hidden mission. Let's see what rewards I can get." At this time, the Barbarian King said excitedly in Night Sorrow's Space Grotto Heaven, "Ha ha! After so many years, we finally left that damned place. Lord Night Demon, if I remember correctly, this is the Mountain of Flames, right?" "Yes, this is the Mountain of Flames. What plans do you have for the few of you?" After calming down, Night Sorrow asked and added, "If you have your own matters to attend to, I won't force you to stay. The agreement inside can be completely canceled." "There's no need to cancel it. We will all work for you." Hearing this, Green Leopard hurriedly said. The Barbarian King also said, "So much time has passed. We just came out and we're very confused. It's better to follow Lord Night Demon." Yin Hongmei thought for a moment and said, "My enemy is Nangong He. My only goal is to kill her. Lord Night Demon, if you can help, I'm willing to serve you. I have enmity with Nangong He and Andrew. I will definitely make a move against them in the future." After saying this, Night Sorrow looked at the Barbarian King and asked, "Barbarian King, why did you go in?" "I didn't offend the three deans. Instead, I offended an extremely talented student. This student has the talent to break through to the extreme realm. Although it was his fault at that time, the Academy chose to punish me." The Barbarian King said slowly, his words filled with resentment. "Oh, a student with the talent to break through to the extreme realm. What's his name? Is he also cultivating in the endless sea of stars?" The Barbarian King's words immediately aroused Night Sorrow's interest. However, after asking, he sighed because he thought of the longevity supremacy who had already fallen. He felt that even if he found someone with the talent to break through to the extreme realm, it would be useless. The Barbarian King didn't see Night Sorrow's disappointment and continued. "His name is Fan Tianming. People call him Tianming Lesser Supreme. When I was imprisoned, he was already a third-grade half-step Supreme Venerable. Now, I don't know what his strength is or where he is." "Oh, so that's how it is. Then, everyone, follow me back to the endless sea of stars. To tell you the truth, I just entered the Academy not long ago. I'm a newcomer to the endless sea of stars." Night Sorrow didn't release the three of them. Instead, he brought them into the endless sea of stars and used a starship to fly toward planet Jielin. He knew that some of his friends should be with Jielin. However, after driving the starship to the periphery of planet Jielin, Night Sorrow immediately flew into a rage. Because at this time, planet Jielin was similar to Night Devil. All the buildings had been destroyed. Seeing the scene in front of him, Night Sorrow immediately sent a voice transmission to Jielin. Jielin, can you receive it? Chapter 3372. However, after Yishang sent the voice transmission, there was no response from Jielin even after a long time. He stood there and pondered for a moment before leaving the endless star ocean to look for Vice Dean Jixian. After all, before leaving, Vice Dean Jixian had promised to take care of Jielin and the others. On the way, Yin Hongmei asked, "Did the destroyed astral body belong to your friend?" "Yes. Not only is the owner of the astral body my friend, but my other friends were with her. I wonder how they are now." Night Sorrow thought of Bai Mei Sanren and the others and said worriedly. When he left, Bai Mei Sanren, Xin Yin, Ape Tian Lai, and the others were all with Jielin. If something happened to Jielin, they would not be spared. "I hope Lord Night Devil's friends are all safe." The barbarian king immediately comforted Yishang when he saw that his brows were furrowed in anger. He felt that Night Sorrow's killing intent was so terrifying that even a cultivator who was half a step to the supreme realm felt a chill in his heart. At this moment, Green Leopard said, "Lord Night Devil, whether your friends are fine or not, we will help you kill them." "You're right. This time, whether my friends are dead or not, I will make the people who targeted us pay with their lives." As they flew towards Vice Principal Ji Xian's temporary residence, Yishang said each word clearly. Since he came to the middle courtyard, he had been targeted. He felt that it was time to teach them a lesson. The endless star ocean was not far from Vice Dean Ji Xian's palace. After leaving the middle courtyard, Night Sorrow quickly arrived outside the palace. At this moment, the two boys outside the palace had seen Yishang before. When they saw him, they immediately exclaimed, "Lord Night Devil, you came out of the disorderly burial star zone." "It's me. Help me inform the teacher," Yishang ordered as he glanced at the two boys. "Yes, Lord Night Devil." Although the two boys could not tell whether Night Sorrow was real or not, they still chose to report it. Not long after, Vice Dean Ji Xian personally flew out. He sized up Night Sorrow and found that it was indeed his real body. He immediately said excitedly, "Night Devil, you're out. You're really out. That's great. During the years you were gone, there wasn't a single day that this old man didn't think about you. Thank you for your concern, teacher. I wonder if Jielin and my other friends are with teacher?" Night Sorrow replied politely and went straight to the point. After the incident with Jielin's astral body, he stayed here to recuperate. But a few years ago, something happened to your Night Demon Peak. She and your friend went to help. Vice Dean Ji Xian continued, "You don't have to worry. When she left, she took my Jade Talisman with her. Since it hasn't been activated yet, it probably hasn't encountered any danger." Although he didn't say much, he had already explained the general situation. Night Sorrow, who had heard everything, immediately expressed his gratitude. "Thank you, teacher, for saving Jielin and my friends. I'm going to look for them now. I'll catch up with you another day." "Go ahead. However, those people will definitely find trouble with you if they know that you came out of the Chaos Burial Star region. This is my Jade Talisman. If Andrew and Nangong make things difficult for you, you can summon me immediately. You have already regained your freedom and identity after coming out of the Chaos Burial Star region. They no longer have any reason to target you." As Jixian spoke, he took out a Jade Talisman and handed it to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took the Jade Talisman and thanked him. "Thank you for taking care of me, teacher." Then, he flew in the direction of Night Demon Peak. Although Jielin didn't summon Vice Dean Ji Xian, this didn't mean that everyone on Night Demon Peak was safe. The people he was most worried about were the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World and the Eternal Ancient Desolate World. He was afraid that something would happen to Shao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword sect, and the others. On the way to Night Demon Peak, Night Sorrow asked, "Do the three of you have any connections with the Lin family? I know the Lin family, but I have nothing to do with them." Hearing this question, the Barbarian King immediately answered. Then, Green Leopard also said, "I don't know anyone from the Lin family either, but I've heard that their power is very huge and they have a lot of foundation." "I have nothing to do with the Lin family," Yin Hongmei also said. "Very good. This time, we should make a move on the Lin family and control all of their power." After Night Sorrow found out that the three of them had nothing to do with the Lin family, he immediately opened his mouth and said, "If something happened on Night Demon Peak, regardless of whether it was related to the Lin family or not, he was prepared to make a move at this time." According to the information he had heard, the Lin family didn't have many half-step Supreme Realm experts. There were only 2 known of them. With their current strength, they should be able to contend against them in terms of peak combat strength. If their tactics were right, they should be able to destroy them. After occupying their territory, Night Sorrow could hide Shao Tianxian and the others in peace and let them cultivate properly. After all, the territory controlled by the Lin family was much larger than Night Demon Peak. In comparison, Night Demon Peak's target was too obvious. Hearing this, Yin Hongmei said, "This Lin family has developed for tens of millions of years. I'm afraid they have a foundation that we don't know about. They shouldn't be easy to deal with, right? They definitely have a foundation, but I have a way to get the support of a faction." As Yishang replied, he sped up his journey. At this moment, the Barbarian King asked, "By the way, Lord Night Demon, we've been trapped in the Chaos Burial Star Zone for so long. How much has the strength of the cultivators in the outside world grown? I remember that before I was imprisoned, the Lin family was a famous family in the fog area. Their strength was not to be underestimated. The old patriarch of the Lin family was also a general under Supremacy Mia. His strength was unfathomable. To be honest, I'm not too sure, but I have a reason to make a move." Night Sorrow thought about this question for a moment and did not say anything. However, the Barbarian King's words made him alert. He knew that the Lin family was definitely not as simple as they seemed on the surface. However, now that he had come out, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. Night Demon Peak would definitely be greatly affected, so he had to make a move against the Lin family. All right, since Lord Night Demon wants to make a move against the Lin family, let's do it together. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, the Barbarian King said with a smile. Yin Hongmei and Qing Bao also did not object. "Thank you very much." Night Sorrow thanked them and then found that Night Demon Peak was already in front of him. So he said, "Let me see how my friends are doing first. Let's talk later." "All right, Lord Night Demon, you should do your own things first," the Barbarian King replied. Night Sorrow responded and released his divine soul power to investigate the situation of Night Demon Peak. With this investigation, he found that there were many fewer people in Night Demon Peak. He immediately felt worried. Chapter 3373. Shao Tianxian and many people from the Myriad Sword sect were not on Night Demon Peak. Jielin and Dancing Lady were not there either. However, Yunyi was there. Night Sorrow immediately found Yunyi, who was cultivating alone in his room, and asked, "Brother Yunyi, what happened in Night Demon Peak while I was away?" Brother Yi, you're back? Great, that's great." Seeing that Night Sorrow had returned, Yunyi immediately stood up excitedly. After greeting him, he continued, "Many things have happened in Night Demon Peak in the hundreds of years that you were away. First of all, those friends you brought started to become heavenly sovereigns after cultivating for more than 100 years. Oh, they started to become heavenly sovereigns from earthly sovereigns in just over 100 years? Hearing this, even Night Sorrow was a little surprised, because Shao Tianxian and the rest had improved so quickly that it was completely beyond his imagination. After all, when he first came to the foggy area, his cultivation had improved so quickly because of all kinds of resources. Now, The people from the two realms had not obtained any good resources yet. Yes, the speed of their strength improvement is completely shocking, and their foundations are very solid. Moreover, there are no flaws in their auras. No one can see any flaws. Yinyi continued to speak vaguely. What he meant was that Xiao Tianxian and the rest already had the aura of the foggy area, and no one could see their true identities. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow suddenly understood and thought to himself, it seems that Senior Yinheng's foggy breathing technique is working. This cultivation method is really amazing. It's better than thousands of resources. Wonderful. Then, he opened the dragon's eyes and observed Yunyi. He found that Yunyi was already at the peak of Upper Heavenly Sovereign and was only a step away from half-step to Supreme Realm. He immediately asked, Brother Yunyi, the speed of your strength improvement is also not bad. Is it because of the foggy breathing technique? Yes. In a situation where resources are limited, my strength can improve further because of the foggy breathing technique that you taught me. Practicing this breathing technique in the foggy area will yield twice the results with half the effort. It's very magical, Yunyi admitted and continued. I think those friends of yours should also be able to improve their strength so quickly because of this cultivation method. Yes, this should be the case. At the same time, when they were in other realms, the spiritual energy was not as abundant as the foggy area. This should be one of the reasons. Right, where are they now? After Knight Sorrow finished speaking, he asked about the whereabouts of Xiao Tianxian and the Myriad Sword sect. We'll have to start from a few decades ago, when we were ambushed by the Lin clan. Yunyi slowly told him about the battle between Night Demon Peak and the Lin clan. It turned out that one of Sujetian's subordinates was a member of the Lin clan. Dozens of years ago, he returned home and told everyone about Knight Sorrow's exile. After that, the Lin clan began to secretly attack Night Demon Peak, while the Slaughterer Academy turned a blind eye to their actions. In the first ambush, they sent out more than 200 heavenly sovereigns. In the past, Yunyi and his subordinates would definitely not be able to withstand the ambush of more than 200 heavenly sovereigns. However, dozens of years ago, Xiao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword sect, and the rest had all become heavenly sovereigns. With their participation and the help of the formation, the people of Night Demon Peak defeated the ambushers of the Lin clan. After that, Yunyi went to the Slaughterer Academy for help. Although Knight Sorrow was exiled, he found Jielin. After that, Jielin, Whirling Lady, Su Lei, and the rest began to bring people to Night Demon Peak. It was a big blow to the Lin clan, who were targeting Night Demon Peak. However, the Lin clan later invited many experts from the Slaughterer Academy, which was a big blow to Night Demon Peak. As the pressure was greater, they felt that it was impossible to passively defend, so they brought Xiao Tianxian, the Myriad Sword sect, and the rest to infiltrate the Lin clan's territory and started to harass them. It was because of this that the Lin clan was in a terrible fix and kept tracking Jielin and the rest in their territory. As a result, Night Demon Peak was temporarily peaceful. How many of them went, and where are they in the Lin clan? After hearing Yunye's words, Knight Sorrow immediately asked. He felt that what Jielin and the rest were doing was too dangerous. If the enemies of the Lin clan and the Slaughterer Academy sent more half-step to Supreme Realm experts, they would be in danger of being completely wiped out. After all, Heavenly Sovereigns had no ability to resist half-step to Supreme Realm experts. The location they chose was at the Mirror Lake Island. It's at the edge of the Lin clan's territory, but there's a mine there. I'm not sure where they went now. However, they should have already infiltrated the Lin clan's territory. Also, I can confirm that they haven't been captured or killed. Yunyi voiced his own judgment. He wasn't sure about the whereabouts of Jielin and the rest. However, according to the informant's report, they shouldn't have been captured or killed. It's good that they're safe for now. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow was slightly relieved. He said, "How many heavenly sovereigns can we gather now? Including the people from the two realms and those we recruited, we can gather more than 200 within half a month." Yunyi said, Although there were only about 100 heavenly sovereigns on Night Demon Peak, he could assemble a team of more than 200 heavenly sovereigns within half a month. Very good. Gather the team immediately. We're prepared to give up on Night Demon Peak and lead the team to attack the Lin clan. Knight Sorrow said with certainty. According to his analysis, it should be very difficult to find Jia Lin and the rest. Why not besiege Wei to rescue Zhao and lead the team to attack the Lin clan and bring them great pressure? This way, it would definitely relieve the pressure on Jia Lin and the rest. In addition, after making a big fuss when they heard that he had returned and was leading a team to attack the Lin clan, they would naturally find a way to gather. Brother Yi, the number of heavenly sovereigns in the Lin clan is about 10 times more than us. It won't be easy to attack directly, right? Hearing Knight Sorrow's words, Yinyi immediately reminded him. I know. However, with the Lin clan's influence and control such a large territory, their members must be very scattered. As long as we are fast enough, we can quickly get rid of some of them before they gather. Also, the number of heavenly sovereigns won't determine the outcome of the battle. Knight Sorrow explained and continued. Brother Yunyi, quickly gather the men. Okay, I understand. Seeing that Knight Sorrow was so confident, Yunyi responded and went to gather the team. In less than half a month, a battle team of 240 heavenly sovereigns was formed, and it appeared in front of Knight Sorrow. Chapter 3374. Now, everyone, follow me to carry out a secret mission. Temporarily enter my eternal divine tower to cultivate. When we arrive, I'll tell everyone what to do. After Yun Yi had gathered everyone, Knight Sorrow didn't say anything to reminisce about the past. Instead, he directly gave orders to everyone. Naturally, he wouldn't bring more than 200 heavenly sovereigns to ambush the Lin clan's property. Therefore, he was prepared to put everyone into a spatial artifact and sneak into the Lin clan's territory to carry out a swift and decisive surprise attack. Being ambushed by Knight Sorrow and the rest with more than 200 heavenly sovereigns was definitely different from being ambushed by Jia Lin and a few dozen people. Looking at the Lin clan's map and carefully analyzing it, Knight Sorrow determined that it was impossible for the thousands of heavenly sovereigns to gather together for such a huge property. As long as they didn't attack the Lin clan's headquarters, they wouldn't encounter any excessive problems. Yes, Peak Master. After receiving Knight Sorrow's orders, everyone, including Yun Yi, instantly got ready. Not a single person had any objections. After all, everyone present knew that Knight Sorrow was the backbone of Night Demon Peak. Very good. Xiaowu, take everyone into the tower. Let everyone adjust to their best condition. Everyone, including the cultivators from the two realms, got ready. Knight Sorrow agreed and let the Eternal Divine Tower take everyone into it. Then, with Yunye's help, he gathered all the cultivators below the Heavenly Sovereign level and put them into the Eternal Divine Tower, allowing them to cultivate peacefully inside. He didn't want these people to suffer when the rear of Night Demon Peak was empty after they left. Before leaving, Knight Sorrow glanced at Night Demon Peak and said to Yunyi, if nothing unexpected happens, Night Demon Peak will completely cease to exist in less than a year. Looks like Brother Yi is preparing to do something big. A trace of a smile appeared on Yunye's face. However, there was a faint trace of worry between his brows. Seeing Yunye's worry, Knight Sorrow summoned Yin Hongmei, the Barbarian King, and the Green Leopard from the Space Grotto Heaven. Don't worry, Brother Yunyi. As long as we don't officially attack the Lin clan's headquarters, we won't encounter any difficulties. This wasn't blind confidence. These three friends of mine are all half-step Supreme Realm experts. What? We actually have 3 such powerful helpers? Yinyi was pleasantly surprised when he saw Yin Hongmei, Barbarian King, and Azure Leopard. He had never imagined that Knight Sorrow, who had been exiled to the Mass Burial Star region for more than 200 years, would return with 3 powerful reinforcements. Huh, what kind of strong reinforcements are we? If we really fight, I'm afraid Boss Knight Demon alone can kill all 3 of us. You might not know this, but he personally defeated an expert at the 4th rank of the Quasi-Supreme Realm in the Mass Burial Starfield. After Yun Yi finished speaking, the Barbarian King said with a smile. Then, he, Qing Bao, and the others introduced themselves to Yun Yi. Knowing that Night Sorrow was now able to contend with a 4th stage half-step to the Supreme Realm, Yun Yi was simply speechless. Seeing Yun Ye's shocked expression, Night Sorrow said telepathically, "Actually, it's because of the power of merit. If I were to fight against an ordinary 4th-stage cultivator, I would definitely be no match for him. Even if I were to fight against a 3rd-stage Star Lord of the Middle Academy, it would still be very difficult. That's already impressive enough. I remember that before you left, you had a hard time fighting against a 2nd-stage Su Zhitian." Yin Yi praised him telepathically. Su Zhitian is different from ordinary 2nd-stage Star Lords. Those above him are the same. You can't judge them with ordinary eyes. In my opinion, if I were to fight against Su Zhitian again, I would definitely not lose, but it would be impossible for me to win easily. Night Sorrow recalled his battle with Su Zhitian and said with certainty, "Many geniuses of the geniuses had gathered in the Middle Academy, so much so that Jie Lin and Huang Ji seemed mediocre. Sigh, the geniuses of the Middle Academy are all so terrifying." He wondered how powerful the elders and grand elders of the Academy would be. How powerful are the 3 Supreme Supremes? After calculating the strength of the Lu Tian Academy, Yun Yi couldn't help but sigh. Obviously, the experts of the Lu Tian Academy were only the tip of the iceberg. However, even the tip of the iceberg was much stronger than the cultivators of the Eternal Supreme World and the Eternal Ancient Desolate World. In other words, they were much stronger than any other forces. Those below the Supreme Supremes are all ants. In the end, we still have to look at the top combat strength. Seeing that Yun Yi was somewhat pessimistic, Night Sorrow immediately comforted him. At the same time, he also began to study the map of the Lin clan while flying. In the end, he chose the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion as his target. The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion was an important place for the Lin clan to forge and sell divine weapons. It had a rich reserve of resources and was usually guarded by some of the most powerful blacksmiths of the Lin clan. Is it risky to choose the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion? At this moment, Yin Hame looked at the map and said, the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion was located in the central area of the Lin clan. It was only half a month's journey from the Lin clan's main camp. Haha, I want to make a move and make a show of strength. An ordinary place is not interesting. Night Sorrow transmitted his voice. At this moment, he had already come out of the Eternal Divine Tower and was using his speed to fly with everyone. Understand, you are trying to attract the attention of the Lin clan so that they have no time to care about Jie Lin and the others. At this moment, Yin Yi saw through Night Sorrow's intentions. Something like that. At the same time, it is also to make the Lin clan panic. It is like scratching an itch. It is not interesting at all. Night Sorrow looked into the distance and said, they relied on flying here. It would take about 5 years to reach the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Therefore, his first destination was Mushui City, which was 7 days away. He was prepared to use the teleportation formation in Mushui City to complete the teleportation and quickly reach the central area of the Lin clan. However, just as he entered Mushui City, he found that the teleportation formation in the city had been sealed and no one was allowed to use it. Obviously, this was because of Jie Lin and the others. Now that the teleportation formation is sealed, what should we do? If we act rashly, we will alert the enemy, right? Yin Yi looked at the situation in front of him and said gloomily. At this moment, the barbarian king laughed and said, "Ha ha! It is just a few heavenly sovereigns. It is not that difficult. Boss Knight Demon, let me out. I will settle the teleportation formation." Okay, It is best not to be discovered by anyone, Knight Sorrow said as he summoned him out. Don't worry, these heavenly sovereigns will not be able to cause any trouble in my hands, the barbarian king said with certainty. He took out a colorless and odorless liquid and threw it into the sky. Soon, it started to rain in Mushue City. Chapter 3375. What kind of technique is this? Yunyi asked curiously when he saw that the barbarian king had summoned a downpour. Summoning wind and rain is just a small trick. The important thing is that although the rainwater is colorless and odorless, it can make cultivators below the half-step to Supreme Realm fall into the illusion brought about by the rainwater. We only need to wait for 15 minutes, and we can safely use the teleportation formation. After the heavy rain fell, the barbarian king explained. He was somewhat proud of himself. Knight Sorrow looked at it with the sea serpent's eye and praised. Well done, the illusion is indeed forming. Haha, I can't be compared to Lord Night Demon. The barbarian king was very humble in front of Knight Sorrow. He stopped talking and waited for the illusion to form with the others. After 15 minutes, the barbarian king smiled and said, Haha, it's time, let's go. No hurry. At this moment, Knight Sorrow suddenly said coldly, Oh, what's wrong? The barbarian king was puzzled when he heard this. A half-step to Supreme Realm cultivator has discovered us. As Knight Sorrow said this, he looked in a direction and said, Come out. You discovered me? After Knight Sorrow said this, a female cultivator appeared from the void in the distance. Are you from the Lin clan? Knight Sorrow asked coldly as he sized up the female cultivator with the sea serpent's eye. The female cultivator was a half-step to Supreme Realm Level 2, but her strength was not inferior to the barbarian king. She was about the same as Yin Hongmei and Qing Bao in the space. I'm from the Lu Tian Academy and have nothing to do with the Lin clan. As the female cultivator replied, she looked warily at Knight Sorrow and the barbarian king. As for the others, they were in Knight Sorrow's space and did not appear, so she could not sense them. Compared to Knight Sorrow, she was more afraid of the barbarian king. After all, Knight Sorrow's cultivation was only at the level of a middle heavenly sovereign, while King Man was at the level of a half-step to the Supreme Realm. At this time, the barbarian king looked at the female cultivator and saw that her strength should be about the same as his. He sent a voice transmission to Knight Sorrow. Lord Night Demon, my raindrop illusion can only last for 15 minutes. Let's quickly take him down, and no one else will know that we used the teleportation array. You don't have to do it, Knight Sorrow replied telepathically. Then, he looked at the female cultivator and said, We can't expose the fact that we used the teleportation array. Make a heavenly oath and swear that if you don't tell anyone about this, I'll let you go. You're just a heavenly sovereign. How arrogant. Hearing this, the female cultivator immediately shouted angrily. If it was the barbarian king who said this, she could consider giving him some face. Female cultivator, you don't know what's good for you. Are you forcing us to attack? The female cultivator obviously looked down on Knight Sorrow, causing the barbarian king to immediately become furious. Oh, you're his servant, and he's a disciple of the big family? After the barbarian king spoke, the female cultivator immediately saw a clue. Cut the crap. Do what I tell you to do. Otherwise, you'll bring disaster upon yourself. After all, his means could only last for 15 minutes. The barbarian king didn't want to talk nonsense with the female cultivator at all. And the female cultivator had a stubborn personality. After being scolded by the barbarian king, she immediately said angrily, Bring disaster upon myself? I like to see what abilities you master and serve in half. After saying that, she took out a 9-section whip made of the spines of 9 types of rare birds and beasts. She whipped it toward the barbarian king. How dare you take the initiative to attack? You're courting death. Seeing that the female cultivator took the initiative to attack, the barbarian king roared and prepared to attack. At this moment, Knight Sorrow said, Her target is me. You can't keep up with her speed. Then, he cast a divine essence trapping array at the female cultivator. He temporarily trapped her in it and then shot out the extreme flame mother gun. He said, "Judging from your cultivation aura, you should be from the endless sea of stars. You're a genius of the middle court, right? This time, I won't attack you, but you have to swear immediately." At this moment, although his cultivation was only at the middle heavenly supreme level, after absorbing the energy of the Ice Saint King, his strength had increased a lot. Although the extreme flame mother gun didn't hit the array, it made the female cultivator's expression change instantly. Although the female cultivator felt that Night Sorrow's attack wouldn't kill her, if Night Sorrow and the Barbarian King attacked together, she definitely wouldn't be able to defeat them. After thinking for a while, she looked at Night Sorrow angrily and said, "This time, you have the advantage in numbers. I, Yun Qing Xian, admit defeat. The next time we meet, there will be a battle between us. Do you dare to tell me your name?" Night Demon. Night Sorrow looked at the female cultivator and said, "You're the Night Demon. You've come out of the disorderly burial star region?" Yun Qing Xian immediately asked when she heard Night Sorrow say the name Night Demon. "Don't waste time. Swear a heavenly oath." At this moment, the Barbarian King said angrily, if they delayed any longer, the duration of his illusion array would be over. "Okay, I swear a heavenly oath that I won't tell anyone about what happened today," Yun Qing Xian said and swore a heavenly oath. "Let's go." After Yun Qing Xian swore, Night Sorrow immediately looked at the Barbarian King and said. Then, the two ignored Yun Qing Xian and used the teleportation array to leave. After Night Sorrow and the Barbarian King left, Yun Qing Xian said angrily, "The next time we meet in the endless sea of stars, I'll teach you a lesson." As one of the prodigies of the endless sea of stars, it was the first time she had been treated so indifferently. Naturally, she was very unhappy. Night Sorrow naturally didn't know about this. After he and the Barbarian King teleported away from Mushue City, they used the same method to teleport continuously. Finally, after 7 days, they arrived at the periphery of the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Although the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion used the word pavilion from afar, it occupied an entire mountain peak. On this mountain peak, there were a large number of pavilions located above the clouds. From afar, it looked like an immortal cave. However, Night Sorrow knew that these were all illusions. Therefore, he said, "The Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion is covered by an array. If we enter from the main entrance, we will enter a chain array. That will be very dangerous. If we want to launch a surprise attack, we need to break the array first." After saying that, Night Sorrow once again put the Barbarian King into space. He summoned the restriction-breaking hammers and asked, "Do you have the ability to break the array in front of you without anyone noticing? The other party's array is very strong, but given enough time, we should be able to break it." The male hammer of the restriction-breaking hammer said, and began to attack the female hammer. Night Sorrow set up a concealment array for them. This was because the location they chose was very remote, and the guests who came to the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion could enter from the front. The people of the Lin Clan did not expect that someone would break the array from the side. The restriction-breaking hammers broke the array very smoothly. It took about a day to break the array of the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Then, Night Sorrow led the people in the Space and Eternal Divine Tower into the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Chapter 3376. When they first entered, Night Sorrow did not let everyone out. Instead, he started to investigate the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion alone. After he figured out the distribution of the people here, in a restricted area of the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion, he transmitted his voice to everyone. "We are currently in the Lin Clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. After investigation, there are no Half-Step Supreme Realm experts guarding this place. There are only over 100 Heavenly Sovereigns. After I release you, everyone quickly exterminate this property of the Lin Clan." After exterminating it, we will go to the next place. The goal is to exterminate all the properties of the Lin clan, except for their headquarters. So this time, we're attacking the Lin clan. Great, this is great. We have tolerated them for a long time. That's right. The Lin clan has been bullying us. Finally, we can fight back. Night Demon Peak Master is mighty. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, they finally understood what the mission was this time. They were still quite excited. After all, the Lin clan was a colossus. They had launched several sneak attacks on Night Demon Peak, but Night Demon Peak did not respond on a large scale. Now that Night Sorrow had returned, it was obvious that he was preparing for a big battle. This made them feel very good. We have enmity with the Lin clan, but today there is a rule. First, kill or capture Heavenly Sovereigns. If cultivators below Heavenly Sovereign do not resist fiercely, we will not kill them. Second, take away all the resources of the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion as long as you find them. Third, although there are many resources here, they're nothing. Don't risk your lives for resources. Understand? Before summoning everyone out of the Eternal Divine Tower, Night Sorrow instructed. Night Demon Peak only had over 240 Heavenly Sovereigns. The number could not be compared to the Lin clan at all. They could not afford to be exhausted. Yes, Peak Master. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, someone immediately responded. Very good. Remember my words. Kill. After mobilizing everyone, Night Sorrow released everyone. Suddenly, he launched a sneak attack on the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion, which was completely unaware. Not good. Alert! Someone is attacking the Divine Weapon Pavilion. After Night Sorrow and the rest made their move, the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion quickly became chaotic. After the chaos, many cultivators who came to the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion to purchase divine weapons all fled the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Only the Lin clan's cultivators remained, and they began to fight to protect the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. However, none of them were at the half step to the supreme stage. How could they possibly be a match for Night Sorrow and the others? In fact, Night Sorrow did not even summon Yin Hongmei, the Barbarian King, or the Green Leopard. He had directly crushed the cultivators of the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. Under such a powerful suppression, only a few of the cultivators under Yi Shang's command were injured. None of them died. After they had killed all the Heavenly Sovereigns in the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion and chased away the Earthly Sovereigns and some servants, they immediately began to search for various resources and artifacts in the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. The Lin clan was rich and imposing. In the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion, there were thousands of Heavenly Sovereign-level divine weapons and defensive divine weapons. The Heavenly Sovereigns of the Night Demon Peak used these resources to arm themselves from head to toe. Very good. The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion can increase everyone's combat power by 30%. Looking at the people who had come alone but were now fully armed, Night Sorrow's face instantly broke into a smile. The situation before him was something he had thought of before he took action. Relatively speaking, the resources of the Night Demon Peak were limited. Naturally, it was impossible to provide everyone with Heavenly Sovereign battle armor, divine weapons, and secret treasures. Now that everyone was fully armed, they looked completely different from before. The Peak Master is mighty. The Peak Master is mighty. The Peak Master is mighty. Almost none of the people from the Night Demon Peak returned empty-handed. Naturally, they were very happy. The Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion has been destroyed. Our next target is the Lin clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak. As for what the goal is, you should know, we already have divine weapons. Let's replenish some elixirs. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he led the group to the Lin clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak. Their whereabouts have been exposed and reported to the head of the Lin clan. However, the Lin clan's Heavenly Elixir Peak was only a 3-day journey from the Lin clan's Divine Weapon Pavilion. By the time the Lin clan sent out a large number of people, it was already too late to stop Night Sorrow and the rest. In less than 6 hours, Night Sorrow led the group to destroy the Lin clan's heavenly elixir peak, completely flattening the Lin clan's sacred place for refining elixirs. Bastard! Who is so daring to openly launch an attack on my Lin clan? Is it Jialin and the rest? They learned that the Lin clan's divine weapon pavilion and the Lin clan's heavenly elixir peak were both destroyed in a short 3 days. Moreover, 20% of the clan's divine weapons and elixirs were all snatched away. The Lin clan's clan leader and elders were all furious. Clan leader, according to the witnesses, the one who attacked this time was not Jialin and the rest from the Lu Tian Academy. The leader is the peak master of the Night Demon Peak, Night Demon. One of the elders immediately said when he saw the clan leader's rage. Night Demon Peak's peak master, Night Demon. Wasn't he exiled to the mass burial divine region? Could he have escaped? The Lin clan's new clan leader, Lin Xiao, questioned angrily when he heard the news of Night Sorrow's appearance. He had advanced to half-step to Supreme Realm more than 100 years ago and took over the position of clan leader of the Lin clan. He did not expect such a thing to happen right before his eyes after only 100 years. Elder Lin Dongming replied, "From the portrait, it's indeed Night Demon. He must have escaped from the mass burial star region. We should have ignored the Lu Tian Academy and destroyed the Night Demon Peak directly." Lin Xiao said regretfully when he heard Lin Dongming's words. He then continued, "Wait here. I'll get Father and the rest to come out of the mountain. Come with me to annihilate the people from the Night Demon Peak. Go to the Lu Tian Academy and invite all of our connections in the academy." He knew that Night Sorrow was not easy to deal with, so he did not have the confidence to fight with his own strength. Therefore, he went to invite the family's resources directly. "Yes, clan leader," Lin Dongming responded and left the Lin clan. He went to the Lu Tian Academy to invite the family, to invite people from the Lu Tian Academy. Their clan had a huge business. Through thousands of years of operations, they had connections with many students and elders in the Lu Tian Academy. While they were organizing their manpower, Night Sorrow led the people from the Night Demon Peak to destroy all of the Lin clan's mines, including the mine where they obtained the Extreme Flame Phoenix Gold. All of the Lin clan's mines had been destroyed. After destroying the mines, Night Sorrow began to lead people to clear out the various forces in the Lin clan. In an instant, the entire Lin clan was turned upside down. Such a huge commotion immediately shook the entire foggy area. Chapter 3377. No one would have thought that the foggy area, which had been peaceful for so long, would erupt with such a huge commotion. While the Lin clan was in a terrible state, the other major forces and the Lu Tian Academy were also paying attention to the development of the situation. The Lu Tian Academy originally wanted the Star Lords in the endless sea of stars to deal with the major families and completely control the foggy area in their hands. But now, before the Academy had even given the order, Night Sorrow had already led his men to attack the Lin clan. This made Andrew and Nan Gonghe very dissatisfied. They felt that what he did was alerting the enemy and were preparing to punish Night Sorrow for his crimes. However, now that Night Sorrow was not in the Lu Tian Academy, they had no intention of making a move for the time being. Like the others, they chose to wait and see. As for the Lin clan, in the month after Night Sorrow had attacked and destroyed some of their outer forces, they had completely gathered their forces, including the forces they summoned and those they invited from the Lu Tian Academy. They had gathered a total of 5 half-step Supreme Realm experts. In addition, they had formed a team of 1,500 heavenly sovereigns. They continued to search for traces of Yishang and his team within the Lin clan's territory. While they were searching, Night Sorrow kept everyone in the Eternal Divine Tower and used the pills and cultivation resources he had obtained from the Lin clan to crazily increase his strength. He himself had been searching for the whereabouts of Jialin and the others. However, After carefully searching all the Lin clan's territory, he did not find anything. Night Sorrow speculated that Jiel Lin and the others should have left the Lin clan's territory. So he gave up on searching and found a forest overflowing with spiritual energy to cultivate the fog-breathing technique. Lord Night Demon, what should we do next? After Night Sorrow had cultivated for a few days, Green Leopard, who was in the Eternal Divine Tower, suddenly asked. In his heart, he had a great hatred for Andrew. He hoped to quickly increase his strength and destroy him. Therefore, he felt that it was a waste of time. Night Sorrow, who could guess Green Leopard's thoughts, replied, I will cultivate the fog-breathing technique for a few days and then bring you to a place. When we return from that place, it will be the time for us to destroy the Lin clan. The Lin clan has been accumulating for tens of millions of years. They shouldn't be easy to deal with, right? We can still fight guerrilla warfare now. If we fight head-on, I'm afraid we won't be able to gain any advantage. Qing Bao said worriedly. It's all right. I have an idea. After saying this, Night Sorrow returned to the mountain that was only 5 days away from the Lin clan's headquarters and continued to practice the fog-breathing technique. After cultivating for about a month, his fog-breathing technique had officially reached the 8th stage. Now, even if he casually used the power of virtue, he would not be discovered by opponents who were half a step into the Supreme Realm. However, if he didn't want to expose himself in front of Lemaitre, he would have to reach the 10th level. This Lin clan actually didn't even search under their noses. After reaching the 8th level, Night Sorrow smiled and stood up. Then, he transmitted his voice to Qing Bao and the others. Now, I can change my aura at will. Even if the Lin clan sees me, they shouldn't be able to see through my identity. We can leave now. Where to? Yunyi asked doubtfully. Let's go to where Ape Tianlia's clan is. Jielin, Ape Tianlai, and the others are no longer in the Lin clan's territory. It's very likely that they're hiding. The most likely place is Ape Tianlia's clan. That's because everyone knows Jielin, but not Ape Tianlai. Night Sorrow voiced his judgment, although no one left any clues for him. He felt that his speculation was close. If Ape Tianlia's clan was not there, then they could be in Jielin's or Hassa Lady's clan. It should not be far from those few options. When he heard Night Sorrow's words, Yunyi suddenly felt that his thoughts were a little wild. He transmitted his voice. Why do I feel that this speculation is a little unreliable? After all, you haven't appeared for 200 to 300 years. I think it's quite reliable. They can no longer withstand the attacks of others in Lu Tian Academy and can only choose to leave. After leaving, they can only attack the Lin clan on a small scale. Now that they're leaving, they can only choose to go to a safe place. There are no more than 3 places they can go. Night Sorrow said with certainty and did not say anything else. He headed straight to where Ape Tianlia's clan was. Along the way, he met a few spies from the Lin clan. However, with the help of the Sea Serpent's eye, he killed all of them. As for the Lin clan's large-scale troops, he did not encounter any. After leaving the Lin clan's territory, Night Sorrow used the teleportation portal and started heading towards Ape Tianlia's hometown. He had been gone for more than 3 years. They only arrived at their destination on the 4th year. In the 2nd year after Night Sorrow left, his Night Demon Peak was razed to the ground by the furious Lin clan. They had some connections in Lu Tian Academy, and Night Sorrow was nowhere to be seen. Naturally, they did not care about this matter. When Night Sorrow brought his men to where the Ape clan was, he reported and confirmed that Ape Tianlai had really brought Jielin and the others here as guests. Soon, Night Sorrow was brought in by Ape Tianlai himself to be summoned by the clan leader. At this time, Jielin, Dancing Lady, Xiao Tianxian, Myriad Sword Sect, and the others were also accepting the clan leader's invitation. After seeing Night Sorrow, the Ape clan leader, Yuan Mu, said a few words of courtesy and said in front of everyone, Tianlai has already told me about your situation. Our Ape clan is willing to fight for the eternal supreme world. Purify us? Oh, clan leader, don't you need to think about it? Originally, Knight Sorrow thought that it would take a tough battle to purify all the ape clan. He did not expect that Ape Tianlai had already done it. He was pleasantly surprised. One of the purposes of his trip was to purify the ape clan's experts and then bring them to launch the final attack on the Lin clan. Think about it. There's no need to think about it. Our clan did not want to enter the foggy area at all. We were forced to join back then. We've long wanted to purify ourselves and our souls. The ape clan leader, Yuan Mu, said without hesitation. All right, then there's no time to lose. Let me purify everyone. Once I'm done, you can start cultivating the fog breathing technique. Since Ape Tianlai had done a good job, Knight Sorrow was naturally prepared to cut the Gordian knot and finish it quickly. After speaking, he began to purify the ape clan. After using the power of merit to purify them, Knight Sorrow realized that this clan did not only consist of the ape clan, but also the Star Ape clan and a dozen other ape clans. They were all captured by the three Supremes and brought to the foggy area when the Eternal Supreme World was destroyed. After finishing all this, Knight Sorrow and the others briefly caught up. Then, he led the ape clan's experts, Jia Lin, and the others back to the Lin clan's territory. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.